Okay, let's see if this works. 3, 2. Hello. So I set today's meetup at 3 p.m. and the place that I had the meetup at doesn't actually open until 4. Yeah, I know. So I had one person show up. But hey, thank you for the person who showed up. It was a pleasure meeting you. Pleasure sharing lunch. Sosin, this is not a dating advice show. No, we're not turning that into it. Cool, Matthew, cool. No fireball. Let's see. All right, so today I wanted to start with something I found a little interesting. Real estate is the crisis risk to watch now. It's all about leverage. With rates rising, the chance of an accident that has a cascade effect is increasing. Yes, Wes. So this is going over office real estate, and it's going over office real estate in New York a little bit. If there's one asset that should come under scrutiny, it is real estate, whose lifeblood is credit. For a double whammy of higher rates and the lasting effects of the pandemic, look to office property. Remarkably, Bloomberg's index of U.S. office property real estate investment trusts, or REITs, is slightly lower now than it was 20 years ago, and almost back to the lows it hit during the worst of the pandemic in 2020. So the blue line is the S&P 500, and the white line is office real estate. And as you can see, wah, wah, wah. So this was, you had your little, dead cat bounce thing here. And I think then people started to realize, wait a second, we don't have to go back to the office now, do we? No, we don't. And it just kind of fell over there, which is, something that I've been bringing up for a while is like, I see that people have returned to New York City. You have a lot of people that have going back to the bars. They're, getting apartments in the Lower East Side and the East Village and the West Village. And you have all those, Arlene's grocery kind of places and pianos are packed in the Lower East Side. But I still see a lot of retail space for lease. And I still see a lot of office spaces for lease. And I don't see anybody renting them. And this seems to back that idea. For anyone who's beheld the growth of the Manhattan skyline in recent years, barely even slowed by COVID-19, this is alarming. The travails of Veneto Realty Trust, one of the biggest developers in New York, whose share price is 59.5% below its high from 5 years ago, suggests the scale of the issue. The fact that my sunglasses are actually in my car, so I may get them later if there's enough demand for the sunglasses to be on stream. But I have to go downstairs and get them out of my car. The fact that a number of developers only narrowly fended off industrial action by building staff earlier this year also indicates the pressure. There's a lot of capacity that was planned on the assumption that demand for office space would continue at pre-pandemic rates, LOL. That no longer looks like a good premise. The fall in real estate investment trust prices shows that the concerns are already covered to an extent in the price, but the impact of a large office property developer defaulting on its loans would be painful. One of the things that could contribute to them defaulting on their loans are interest rates going up to rates that we haven't seen for 10 or 15 years. Which I'm honestly looking forward to. Seriously, I think it's about damn effing time that some of these empty spaces in New York City go down to $20 a square foot rather than this $50 to $500 a square foot bullshit. The issue isn't restricted to the U.S. European office property. Wait, the issue isn't restricted to the U.S. European office property isn't so overblown and hasn't suffered quite much since the pandemic. But the FTSE indexes for Eurozone and UK office real estate investment trusts, denominated here in euros, show similar problems at work. So yeah, Europe's, again, it kind of went up. And then it went back down during COVID. It's dead cat bounce. And it's like, yeah, we're going to return to the office. And it's like, oh, LOL, never mind. We can work from home. Many holders of office property, like endowments and big pension funds, are exactly the entities that can swallow a big loss without causing a systemic cascade. But rising supply of offices plus falling post-pandemic demand, all funded with lots of leverage, is a combination that needs to be monitored closely. But what do you mean monitored closely? What do you lower the prices and people will come back. Just let this crash. Just let it crash, lower some of the prices, and let people come back and open businesses and offices in these cities that they can actually afford to run profitably. I don't know. That seems like it's just not allowed anymore. That brings us to housing. Rates in the mortgage-backed bond market are surging, as would be expected given the move in treasuries, while the rates actually offered to U.S. borrowers are even higher. Typical 30-year mortgage rates are now a whisker below 6% and approaching the pre-crisis high of 2006. This is another market that has been churned by the pandemic. Demand is shifting. Some locations are no longer appealing in the work-from-home era. Others are suddenly much more exciting. This is at one point I push back against. One of the things I found interesting is that a lot of people are saying everybody's leaving California or New York or places like that, and as a result of it, the real estate in the rest of the country is getting expensive. But one thing that's interesting is if you look at housing in lots of in San Francisco, New York City, Chicago, it's going up in price. It's still going up in price. It's just going up in price in tandem with every other part of the country going up in price. So every other part of the country is going up in price, but there are, again, still lines around the block to rent shithole apartments in the East Village, 1 block from my old store, that are old, crappy, nasty walk-ups and nasty 100-year-old buildings that likely haven't been maintained in 50 years. And it's something like that all around. New York and Miami, which were both the subject of particularly excited action during the property bubble 16 years ago, have also seen prices surge. Yes, New York math is prices always go up. This is uncomfortably reminiscent of the conditions that triggered the global financial crisis. Mortgage lending hasn't been so loose this time, and the main commercial banks aren't as exposed, so the systemic implications aren't as profound. But the prospect of suffering leverage losses on assets that people cannot afford to be without is still painful. I don't know. I think there needs to be some pain there. It's getting tiring to see entire sections of cities be vacant and just have 4 lease signs up for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and just neighborhoods get entirely hollowed out. Like, I get it. Okay, fine. A pension fund invested in it. That sucks. Truly, honestly, it does suck for the people that are involved, that have pensions, that expect to be able to have a nice, clean retirement. But at what price? I mean, are those pension funds supposed to be propped up and held up at the expense of entire areas of the United States not being productive, not being able to do business, being empty, having blighted neighborhoods? It's one thing when I visit the post office in Greenville, New Hampshire, and I see that it has a board in the window in the building next door, and the window is cracked. Like when you have a town of 1,000 or 2,000 people, I get it when there's nothing, when a bunch of stuff is empty. But when you have 8.5 million people in a really, really tiny space, it really sucks when so much stuff is empty. That's ridiculous. Pension funds that make the bad investment should suffer the same consequences like any other investor. True, it's just, again, it's going to screw over a lot of people that didn't have anything to do with those decisions. Damn shame the prices are so high and nobody's buying. They should just make more money. A realtor probably, says generic name. Dating advice show. It is not. No, this is not a dating advice show. I need a job advice show to stick with what I do or go for more hours. What do you do, Brad? You said you work on energy rigs or energy systems or something like that? And imagine since you use a truck for work, it's not white collar work. What do you do? Robert, I'll put the sunglasses on later, maybe. The double real estate bust comes when housing interest rates become high enough and business property tanks due to companies promoting work from home. What's rev promoting? Like vroom vroom, rev? To save money paying for brick and mortar. That's the thing, a lot of companies, the thing is, this is going to get a lot of shit from the r/anti-work crowd, but managing people working from home, if you're used to managing people in person, it's difficult and it sucks. Because a lot of people that are really, really good as in-store employees or in-office employees can suck when they're out of office employees. Like really basic things like, for instance, if I need your attention on something, I can walk over to you and ask you for it. But if you're not in the office, I have to ask you over Slack or Instant Messenger. And even some people who are really, really good, hardworking people, they're used to somebody tapping them on the shoulder and saying, can you do this? Some people will check messengers instantly. But some people will they hate notifications. They hate when their phone buzzes. So some of my most talented people put their phone on mute when they're in the middle of something important because they don't want to be interrupted. And one of the most annoying sounds on planet Earth since the beginning of 2020 is the Slack notification noise. I hate it. But there are a lot of people that they don't want that. So again, getting people used to a work from home culture, getting them used to all these systems. Some people will adapt instantly. Some people are already used to it, and some people it's like banging heads against the wall. But the thing is, once you finally are forced to put that into place because you're not allowed to have people in the office, once you've gone through the growing pains, it's like, okay, we used to pay $490,000 a month for office space. We can get away with paying $20K, and everybody else can just work from home. Why would you go back to paying $490K? Truly, I mean, that money could be spent on many other things that are not a shitty office lease. New York commercial real estate is a non-consensual Ponzi scheme. I don't know. It seems a lot of it seems consensual, and that's the part that scares me. If Amazon was planning on providing jobs, their new warehouses would include apartments. They may plan to phase out most people by 2025 as wages rise and the cost of automation falls with subsidy. Huh? It sucks for 30-year-olds. I thought they just got their shit together. Does it? I mean, how would this in particular harm 30-year-olds? My sunglasses are in my car. You know what? We'll have a vote. Do I go downstairs and get my sunglasses for my car, or do I just do the stream as is? We'll have a vote. 1 for sunglasses, 2 for no. 2 for no sunglasses. You think house prices will ever go back to normal? My non-financial investment advisor guess is 3 to 5 years. But I mean, again, I don't know. What is paywall tonight? Oh, everything's paywalled. Bye-bye. Useless comment. Let's see. Seems like a bunch of employers looking for PLC techs. I despise acronyms. PLC tech. What? Programmable logic device. Programmable logic control. When interest rates rise, you see the prices go down, and some people lose their homes. I don't know. There's a lot of people buying houses right now that are absolute dumps for insane amounts of money, and I don't understand that at all. Consensual for the property owners, but not for the renters. And now the owners will see the collapse because they held out too long. I mean, how much of it is or isn't consensual? You know, when I got shown spaces that were $75,000 a month, I did say, you know, there were a lot of spaces I said no to on my real estate journey. Like when they say it's $75K a month, I do say no. I often say no. The problem with my job is it's seasonal and sporadic. They call it spring and fall season, but basically once it gets hot or cold, they have to run the units, which means I sit at home. I mean, do you make enough money during the times that you are actually on call to cover your expenses for the year? And do you enjoy what you do? Companies manage employees by pushing pain onto workers and seeing how much they can get away with. That is tough to suss out if you can't see someone's reaction from asking them to do something. That's another thing, you know, like there are things that I ask people to do, and so it's hard for me to tell when somebody's complaining just because they want to bitch about it, and when they're complaining because what I've asked them to do is actually a genuine hardship for them. And being able to see the process, being able to actually see what is going on and what they're doing, it allows me to kind of determine, because usually a lot of the things that I ask people to do are things I do myself. So like up until very recently, when we started to get really specialized in certain things, virtually everything I would ask an employee to do is something that I have done myself, and something that I've done to that particular standard, I actually have done myself at one point in the company to that particular standard. It's only recently, you know, I guess things like logical SD card data recovery and stuff like that, where I just don't do that because I don't know how to use some of that software, or the thing with the 48 different freaking pins and you scraping the card and all that. But for the most part, like I usually gauge whether or not what I'm asking somebody to do is fair based on me actually doing it. You know, if I'm willing to do it and I can do it easily, then like I think I can ask you to do it because I've done it myself. But sometimes there are things that I ask people to do where it's okay, you may be doing it under a different circumstance than me. So being able to see their reaction lets me tell. Like, are you just complaining because you want to complain about, you know, just general, you know, complaining? Or is this something where I've actually asked you to do something that's genuinely unfair and a real hardship? And being able to see the reaction, being able to see everything as it's happening is really, really helpful in those cases. There's a lot that it comes with managing people working from home that people are not really considering because they're on one end of it. Reverse promotion psychology applies to promoting something. Businesses can spend their real estate budget on convincing workers it is their idea to surrender their resources without compromise. Recompense. What does that even mean? I don't understand that. Like if you, yeah, I don't understand. Like surrender their resources without recompense. I don't get that. I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you. I think that spending time getting ready for work and then commuting to work is cancer if you can work from home. I don't understand why you're disagreeing with me. I agree with that 100%. I think spending time getting ready for work and commuting is cancer if you can work from home. What I'm not saying that people shouldn't work from home. I'm saying that there is an adjustment. That many of the people who are proponents of work from home just think that there is no compromise, that there is no difficulty on the part of management, that every single person, 100% of the people on God's green earth, have the ability to start working from home tomorrow, have the exact same performance, and have the exact same engagement level, and that's just fundamentally not the case. I'm not saying that people should be commuting if they can do their job from home. So I don't understand what your disagreement is, because you're not disagreeing with anything that I've said. Let's see. I'm hella more productive working from home and more free time left too. Like you going back to the office. You think gas prices sticking around long term? I think for the next 3 or 4 years. Probably the next 3 or 4 years. One of the things that was interesting last year is in July you saw certain countries breaking with OPEC, saying, we want a higher quota on production for our country. And that was very interesting, because the moment that they started to break away from OPEC, in spite of the fact that it was the height of summer driving season right before July 4th, you saw oil prices start to go, because everybody's thinking, oh shit, that country breaks away from OPEC, oh my God, they're just going to open the pumps, and then everybody's going to open the pumps, and there'll be so much extra oil. So you had oil that was almost at $80 a barrel, tumbling into like the low 60s within a week and a half. It was crazy. Between July 1st and July 19th of 2021, the crude just went, even Brent, it just... Now, what was interesting is that when the country that was some of the countries that were asking for higher quotas in their output actually got higher quotas, they were not able to meet the higher quotas. Let me repeat that. Countries where there's no ExxonMobil, no Chevron, no Joe Biden, no Donald Trump, virtually no American influence, asked to be able to produce more oil from their own oil companies. They got a higher quota from OPEC because they're a member of OPEC, and they had said back around April in 2020, we're going to be cutting output so that, to deal with the fact that oil is going negative, to up prices and keep price stability. They wanted a higher quota. They got the higher quota. And then once they got the higher quota, they weren't able to produce the amount of oil that they were asked to be able to produce. That's crazy. Again, what that demonstrates to me is that you cannot turn off the world and then turn the world right back on the next day. That's not how any of this works. And we're now dealing with the consequences of that. But like, getting all this shit back into balance, my guess, again, just talking out of my ass, 3 to 5 years. Have you found someone better than Repair Shopper? No, but I need to, because they're not as responsive as they used to be since Troy sold the company, and I don't trust it now. That I don't, like before I could email somebody and I could have an immediate response to any of my concerns. Now it's changed massively, so I'm going to be looking for an alternative to Repair Shopper, and I'll let you know. What happened to Erica? That is a paywalled question. I have made the decision to be an asshole, and if I get a question more than 5 to 10 times a day, I am now putting it behind a super chat paywall. Wes says, Dave, that's a $50 super chat. Well, you know what? Yes, it's a $50 super chat question. That's what we're going to do. Going to turn this shit into a business. Having a repair business and taking repairs to someone else, then you can't call yourself a repair business. I don't understand what that means. I don't get it. I don't understand what the context is there with anything that I've said so far, or anything that's been said in the chat so far. Do you see who's on Tim Pool? I do not care about somebody else's show. I am doing my show right now. He can do his show, I do mine. He do his channel, I do my channel. I think it's not either a one-size-fits-all. For something like physical board repair, looking over his shoulder might help and help, but for software development, virtual is fine. Yeah, for a lot of software development stuff, it's hard for me to imagine people working in an office. An IRC channel, it should be fine enough. I don't know what happened to Copass. Now that you have some leverage, have you ever thought about expanding replacement repair in other fields or sticking to your brand to repair products? I don't know what you mean by leverage. What do you mean by, what does leverage mean to you? Now that I have some leverage. Do I have leverage? I don't feel like I have leverage. What are you talking about, leverage? Sticking, yeah, I don't know what you mean by me having leverage, tech from heaven. I don't know what that means. What is? It's called leadership, Louis. What is called leadership? So many of the comments today are lower quality than the comments yesterday, and it kind of makes me sad. No greenies for you. You already had enough greenies. Too much junk food for you. Yeah, the questions today, the comments today are fairly low quality. It's called what is called leadership? What are you talking about? Let's see. A smart manager or company can tailor and manage in person and virtual or a hybrid model. Yes, they can, and one of the ways that they may do that is by taking the people that are incompatible with a work from home model and firing them. My point is that it is not immediate, and there are some employees that are fundamentally going to fight the work from home model. They'll want to, but that's not all of them. But my point is that it is not like you just snap your fingers and it just immediately becomes able to work from home. And since the majority of people are workers and not managers, there is going to be some sort of populist sentiment and also like this kind of like vanity. It's like, I can work from home. Everybody can work from home. Workers are always perfect all the time and can adapt to any situation. And if there's any problem whatsoever, it's the fault of management. It's not true. I mean, there are people like just this main fact. I've spoken to so many people about this. We're just like, just the basics of, okay, I need to be able to text you or call you since I can't walk over to you if I have an issue. Like the amount of people that I've spoken to where it's just that alone is difficult to get down for certain people who are amazing in the office is considerable. Like, not everybody is going to be compatible with that. I'm not saying that working from home is bad, nor am I saying that people shouldn't be allowed to work from home, nor am I even saying that that's the majority of cases. But what I'm saying is that to expect that 100% of all companies and employees are going to have zero problems with a work from home mindset and that shift is ludicrous and a fairy tale. And I'm saying that it is a pain in the ass to have to change things over. People don't like change. Like if employees all loved change, they would most of them would start their own companies tomorrow and quit their jobs. Like a lot of employees okay, I have this job, it's done in this way, this is my procedure, this is my workflow, this is how everything is, and such is life. And changing that a lot of the times is going to be met with resistance. Work from home is one thing, but pay people for using their personal property and services. Employees subsidizing their employers' operating costs is backwards. Oh, well, let's say that you spend, let's hypothetically say that you spend like $150 on gas back and forth so that you can make it to work every month, right? Let's just say you spend $150 on gas. And now instead of spending $150 in gas, you're using $5 worth of electricity because you're plugging in your computer at home rather than plugging in at the office. Like, where would you draw the line there, you know? I would be curious where you would draw the line, null persona, because people do spend money to get to work. They do spend money on ancillary things to get to work. They do spend money on, maintenance for their car and everything else. And a lot of, there are some jobs that will pay you for that. There are some jobs that will compensate you for that. Like for people that travel from outside of the metropolitan area, I pay for Paul's New Jersey Transit Authority pass. I pay for Patrick's Long Island Railroad shit because it's more money than your normal Metro card. They're coming from far away and they're decent at their job. So it's like, I don't mind doing that. But there are a lot of jobs where they don't do that. The transportation is 110% on you. So like, if you're asking an employee to spend like $2 to $4 a month in electricity, but they're saving $100 or $200 a month in transportation costs, and let's say, I don't know, maybe like 100 hours a month in, let's say they're saving $100. Let's say that they're saving 30 hours a month in commuting time. Like, how would you weigh that? I wouldn't say immediately. What's an important question you've wanted us to ask you, but we haven't? I don't have any, no, I don't have an answer to that. If you have a question, I can answer it, but a question about a question, I don't have an answer to a question about a question, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. I can answer questions, I just can't answer questions about questions. It's a little bit too much, too inception for me, too meta. My point there is that if you have, where do you draw the line with stuff like that? Like, I don't think that it's exploitation in 100% of all cases if somebody's working from home and using something that they already have at home to do their job when the mere process of getting to work and back may actually have cost them more than the usage of their own stuff at home. Plus their time. Like, I don't pay my staff for commuting time. You get paid for the time that you're here. The time that it takes you to get to work, the more they ask the question, the more you raise the payroll price. That's a good idea, Felix. We're going to up it to $100 for the Erica questions. Would you consider supporting Diane Sayre for Senate? I don't know who that is. Who is? I can't vote in New York, so I can't vote in New York, so I wouldn't even really be able to answer that question. You see a little smile come across my face when I say that? Oh man, sucks. It's too bad. So sad. Man, it sucks that I can't vote in New York State or City. Did that guy ask out the girl he likes? I don't know. If Troy returns to the chat, we'll figure it out. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate it. I've been having issues with them. We need a replacement as well. Yeah, I got to find a replacement for Repair Shopper. If you managed to turn your YouTube channel into a multi-million-dollar business based around Super Chat questions, would you be proud of what you have done? You know what? Yeah, fuck it. Honestly, I would prefer that if I were to become a multi-millionaire from YouTube, it's because I have 600 plus board repair videos that popularized component level board repair on a number of different devices across all fields again and got right to repair passed across the country or something like that. But if in turn I got, instead of becoming a multi-millionaire by being productive and adding value to society, became a multi-millionaire off of a meme, I'll take it. I'll take it. An oil cartel that isn't sanctioned by governments, jacking the price but no one's doing anything. I mean, listen, if they have oil and you want the oil and you don't have the ability to make enough of the oil yourself, it's like, well, what are you going to do? Punish them? They can just say, fuck you, I'm not selling to you. Where are the cats? That's a paywall question. If your employer could make the same gross revenue without the overhead of an office location, they would. It's more profit at the end of the day. True. Offices are for dinosaurs. For a lot of jobs, they are. How would you go about charging your e-bike if you wanted to drive it across the country? I would get one of those J1772 to IEC cables. So I get something like this. They make these adapters. Okay, so this is a J1772. So you plug your J1772 into this, and then on the other end, you get this. I think, don't correct me if I'm wrong on here, I think it comes out to 240 volts of AC. I think. So then what you would need is I don't know. You would need is a power supply. So let's say you have an e-bike with a 58.8 volt battery. 58.8 V charger. And you'd want to get, let's see, a higher amp. You're going to want to get one that runs off, that'll like be able to put out, 20 or 30 amps or so. Obviously, you'd have to have a really big battery, and I'm assuming you have a really large battery that would actually be able to charge at that if you wanted to ride it across the country. Yeah, let's arrange by highest price, because the cheap ones are probably going to be low amperage. Maybe something like this. Let's see. 58.8. Okay, 1 to 20. Now, does this accept input of 220 volts? Okay, but 220 volt input. Beautiful. Yeah, so something like this would be the closest thing I'd think to fast charging. I have one of those adapters, and it's pretty cool. I haven't used it much. Because my electric bike had about 300 miles of range, so I was planning to take it to Cape May. I never took the time for that, though. My year's salary ain't great. I bet you might even make more than me. Brad, if that's the case, then again, if it's not great by your standards, then start looking. The transition to 100% telework was painful, like you're saying, and some never really adapted. My main beef with folks is they think they can flip the switch the other way just as fast without problems. Yeah, like that's the thing. I don't mind if you do work from home. And people, like the moment that I say that there may be difficulties in getting people to adapt, they say, I disagree with you, work from home is great. It's like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that to people that believe that managers who are hesitant to go full, or managers that have problems with it are just, old assholes, it's like, no, I mean, there are actual problems with it. Again, if you're a manager and you've just trying to get 12 people to just understand the basic concept. Here is an instant messaging platform. Since I can't walk over to you and tap you on the shoulder when I need something, I need you to actually have notifications on, pay attention to this, and then answer me the same way you would in real time. That shit's hard. Some people adapt on day one. Some people after 3 months don't even. Will just say, "Oh yeah, the sound was annoying, so I just X the window." It's like, okay, well, if I need something from you, how does this work? You know? I think people actually save more money working from home. Even if you don't work from home, you still pay the rent and electricity that you pay if you work from home. True. And the other thing is, again, like, when are you more likely to eat out? When you are 30 miles from your home, or when you're right next to your stove and your refrigerator? There's a lot of ways to save money working from home. What is the future of right to repair once pro right to repair laws get passed at national, state, or local level? Then the future of right to repair at that point would be companies like Microsoft, Apple, Google, everybody else fighting it out in court for 2 to 4 years and hoping that we win. Like, just because the law gets passed, you don't. It's like Apple's not gonna just like let up. In my opinion, none of these companies are gonna let up simply because the law gets passed. They're gonna do everything that in their power to try and get it overturned. What I didn't like was the change in overtime laws in California in the late 90s. I had a 4 to 9 hour work week with Alt Friday at 8 hours, had 26 3-day weekends a year until that changed. Huh, I don't get it. Also, in addition to gas costs for commute, you have to pay more for food to eat lunch from work break as opposed to cooking at home. True. Some pack a lunch, but that's a pain and not as good as freshly cooked food. Also true. What is this? Why you make funny noise? Don't make funny noise, phone. How is New Hampshire? How's the New Hampshire? Going all right. Do you think a woman could really handle that job? What is that job? So many of the comments today are low quality compared to yesterday. What do you mean? What is that job? I don't understand what you're talking about. Oh, here you go. Your other comment. Are you opposed to supporting a woman for Senate? No, I just don't. This is retarded. I said I don't live in New York anymore, so I don't care who's running for Senate there because I can't vote there. And somehow you turn that into whether or not a woman is qualified to be in office? Dude, get out of here. Low quality comments. I had to request work at the office. I'm just so less productive at home, but I'm sitting in basically, and I missed the last. Let's see. What did I just miss? I'm sitting in basically an empty office. Yeah, some people like being in. Honestly, some people like being in an office, and some people. One of the things I found with board repair people, like, or at least for people that have gone fully remote with stuff like board repair, like my friend has a company where she has 2 technicians that just do the work out of their home. Like a part of it is that it gets lonely, you know. So when I have a board that's kicking my ass, I can walk over to Paul and then Chris and then Anel, and like we can curse about it. I could show it to them. They can talk about the experience that they had with a board that's kind of similarly tortured them. They can, they joke around for 5 minutes. They shoot Nerf darts at each other, and then they go back to their desk and then they work, and then they will go back to work. Or sometimes if, like Anel gets burned out on a board, he can then give it to Paul. If Paul gets burned out on a board, he can give it to Chris. If Chris gets burned out on a board, well, we just give up at that point because Chris is God. But in all seriousness, no, in fact, that is serious. If Chris gives up on a board, we give up because Chris is God. But he's so much smarter than me. It's insane. But there is that collaboration. I can't do that working. If you're working from home and you're working on something that sucks for 5 hours, you don't have the banter back and forth. You can't just say, "Yo, can you take a look at this real quick to see what I missed?" I don't know. There's upsides and there's downsides. Again, if you're a software developer, it doesn't make sense to be in a cubicle all day. Just work from home. But there are certain jobs where there really is benefit to working with other people. And then, like, for instance, there's something about board repair. There's something about this job that I've noticed with virtually everybody who takes it, where it doesn't matter how many boards you successfully fix that other people fail to fix. When you have 2 to 4 no fixes in a row, you feel like shit. And you feel like an imposter. And a small part of you goes, was I ever really good at this? Was I just lucky? Like, were those 4,000 boards I fixed over the past 7 years, were those just easy ones, and now I'm finally getting ones that are semi-difficult? Was I ever any really good at this? And you can see the depression on their face. So you can see the depression on Paul's face when he gets 2 or 4 miserable boards in a row. You can see Chris just like, when he gets a bunch of shitty cases that he can't get the data from. Like, it really is depressing. One of the things that Steve said when it comes to hard drive data recovery, because a lot of those cases, it's not like board repair where you spend, an hour or 2 and then you give up. Like Steve sometimes will spend upwards of 50 hours on a single hard drive. Because like after he spends 10 hours and can't get it, he calls the customer and they start crying, going, please, please, I beg of you, please, he's dead, please try to get it. He'll spend upwards of 50 hours on one device. And when he can't get it, like it fucking kills him inside. You can see. And one of the, you'll see at my store, like we do streams where they go to play basketball. They shoot hoops, they shoot each other with Nerf guns. They play chess. There's all different types of things they do. Because if they don't do that stuff, they'll lose their mind. When you're working on a puzzle and you're stuck on that puzzle and you can't solve it and you can't move forward, like if you continue to just bang your head against the wall in that puzzle and you're alone and you're by yourself in an environment with nobody else in your own, just some room of your house, that can suck. That can really grate on you. Some people succeed in those environments and some don't. Is the audit of your store over? Just curious. Nope, we're actually just getting started now. Again, they asked for a bunch of different more reports after I submitted over 900 pages worth of stuff. So it's like, okay, fine. Here you go. Here's your 900 pages of really more reports, and we go from there. And with any luck, I have a business rather than the first thing that they came back. The first thing that they came back to me with was a request for an amount of money that it's approximately 3 times what's actually in my business bank account. And if they ask for that, that is indeed game over for me. At that point, it's like, bye. I can't give you money I didn't collect. If I did not collect a tax for this particular service because it's never been fucking taxable in the past based on the interpretation of the law, then it's not like I made the money and didn't pay tax on it. I didn't collect the tax from the customer so I don't have to give you. But we'll see if that's understood. And we'll also see if the interpretation of the law that almost every other repair shop is using when they do this applies to me, or if this is just a new interpretation for the hell of it. I hope it goes well. I do, because if they ask for an amount of money that's equivalent to 3 times the amount of cash that's in my business bank account, I don't know. No. I can't even go back to Modell's. Like, that gotta go to Modell's. Yeah, you used to have to answer the phone at Modell's Sporting Goods. Welcome to Modell's, your hometown sporting goods store. How may I assist you today? Because I used to just say, sporting goods. That's not good. Apparently, they used to answer the phone Modell's, and then when we got transferred to one of our departments, we would say sporting goods, apparel, or footwear. And that's not how it is. Apparently, the way you were supposed to do it, and I almost got written up for this, you're supposed to say, welcome to Modell's, your hometown sporting goods store. How may I assist you today? I felt like such a fucking douchebag saying that. But yeah, if that doesn't go well, then I don't know. Maybe I'll work at Dick's Sporting Goods or something. We'll see. That'll be fun. What is this? He's not drunk. Not drunk. Nope. This is water. I did have a job interview a few weeks ago, just in case that doesn't go well. If that doesn't go well, then maybe but they offered me $2,000 a year. So, yeah. Second last is women are more anxious and have worse executive functioning. They don't have worse executive functioning. That's retarded. Now, I think they're not. It's not about more anxious. You're talking about on average or on aggregate higher in a trait called neuroticism. But there's also the issue that the differences between women are greater than the differences between men and women. So, like if you look at a category, you'll find more differences in those particular character traits among women than you will between women and men. So you're taking things and you're overgeneralizing them to come to a very specific conclusion that women can't have a job in politics, which is retarded, like actually retarded. Also, the lower IQ thing is actually even more retarded, because if you would look at it, it's not that women have lower IQ. It's that instead of it being like men will have more people on the high end, but also more people on the low end, and like women will have more people in the middle. That's not even lower IQ. That's on average higher IQ, but at the extreme ends, they will have less than, Einstein. But like, obviously you're not an Einstein because your comments are retarded. Either way, since you're retarded, you're out of my chat. Bob, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of my chat, you retard. Okay. I see your perspective. It's up to the employer and the employee, but changing it mid-employment seems problematic. I hate the word problematic. Am I allowed to say that? Also, the other thing is you said they're emotional when on their period, but you said their period, T-H-E-Y-R-E. You're fucking dumb, bro. You're talking about women having low IQ. You're retarded. You're actually fucking dumb. Holy shit, how much lead is in the fucking water you drink, you dumb fuck? There, T-H-E-Y-R-E period. You didn't learn how to spell. I learned that shit in first grade from Mrs. Sobel when she gave me Hooked on Phonics. God damn, you're dumb. Okay, back to this. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself there. What a fucking dumbass. I see your perspective. It's up to the employer and the employee, but changing at mid-employment seems problematic. What? The employer is not the one that's changing it mid-employment. The fucking government is changing it by forcing everybody to not work. Okay, do you think that many of the employers that are doing work from home wanted to upend their entire business? They didn't. They had to do so because the dictatorial governors in those states said that you're not allowed to have people in the office. It's not like the employer is saying, listen, sometimes in life, you're going to have challenges. And honestly, if the idea, okay, you know what, instead of working in your cubicle on a laptop at work, you have to connect to Wi-Fi at home. And you have to find a desk at home. And then use that laptop that you would have used at work at home with your own Wi-Fi that you have anyway because you're a modern human being. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously, is that what we're talking about? Like, it's problematic that somebody has to use a laptop with their home Wi-Fi to connect to the internet to do their job. Like, listen, you're gonna have hardships in life, man. There's always gonna be hardships in life. And if your idea is this is way too problematic, then I'm like, we're too spoiled as a society. If that's if that is the majority opinion, we're way too spoiled as a society. Excluding right to repair, what modern issue is over-discussed and which is most under-discussed? What is over-discussed, I think, are some of the exaggerated culture war issues in politics. What is under-discussed are... Honestly, what I think is under-discussed is childhood education. And to be clear, I don't mean in terms of teachers deserve more money because they're angels and perfect and never do any wrong. And if we just gave them more money than the $22,000 or $23,000 per student per year that they already get in New York City and New York State, everything would be hunky-dory. I mean, like, most people really hated their experience that they had as a child. And it's really weird because when I meet people that from the age of 6 to 17, I sat next to in class and genuinely hated it. It's something happens when they turn 18 or 19 and they just snap their fingers, and it's like they have this selective amnesia of the last 10 or 15 years of their life where they just forget that they hated it. And they're like, oh yeah, schools are great. We should support teachers. Public education is lovely. For the entire 13 years that I sat next to you in class, you hated it. You hated it. You sought to cut every single chance you could. You said it was boring. You fought with the teacher. You didn't like the work. You thought it was ridiculous. You thought we were not going to use this shit in real life. This is a waste of time. And now, like, I don't know. I think that the entire early childhood education system needs to be redone from the ground up. Because the thing is, I think if you get shit right for people for in the early stages of their life, everything else is just kind of like everything else is like cruise control at that point. Like, I think the most difficult thing to having a society with functioning adults, most of the work is done when you're young. Like, you get everything right in early childhood, then the rest of it is like cruise control. I'm sorry, I can't get over the person talking about people's IQ that didn't know the difference between THEYRE and THEIR. Like, that was retarded. Oh my god, I'm sorry. I couldn't get over how stupid that was. That's true Dunning-Kruger. You have like this serious Dunning-Kruger where the dumbest fucks on earth are the ones that are talking about people's IQs. What a dumb fuck. Have you gotten a status update on Duco? I have not, and that really does worry me. That actually does concern me. So this guy was one of my 3 biggest mentors. I have 2 videos on him. Let me find them. This guy was one of my 2 biggest mentors. Yeah, this guy. I was really proud that I got to meet him. Oh, Jesus Christ, Chrome, why you so... Yeah, come on. You can do it. Yeah, this guy. I also did a video on him here. Come on, Chrome, you can do it. You can load my thumbnail. I guess you can. Yeah, this video is from 2015. This one's from 2018. He's one of the smartest people I ever met in my life, and he was always touch and go. He was busy with things, but I haven't heard from him for almost a year, and that does worry me and concern me. And all the people that I know that knew him have not heard from him in almost a year. And I don't really know how to track somebody that's in the Netherlands or another country. But even if the person is not there, I mean, even if I can't talk to him, I just want to know if he's okay or not, or what happened to him. But that does make me kind of... I spoke to Duke on Twitter only a week ago. Oh, that's cool, Paul. That's cool. I thought he was missing or something. Anyway. Yeah, it would have made me really sad if something happened to him. How do you feel about Apple's self-repair situation? I think it's mostly junk. The very few things they got right are the things that most of the media is complaining about. See, I'll link you to a few things on what I thought of Apple software repair programs. We got this. And and we have this. Oh, and there's one more. And this. I'll give you some links. All right, I got you some links. See you later, Felix. Hope you have a good evening. If every one of your subscribers gave you $50 super chat, you would be set for life. If every star in the sky turned into a penny, they would fall on my head and they'd hurt. How much do customer interactions drain you before you got more employees? Sometimes I wonder if I could handle owning a business, and the most dreadful part of me would be dealing with people. It wasn't dreadful. It was only bad when I would have to split my attention away from repair in order to do that. So the problem is that you're going to make compromises in both the repairs that you make, and you're also going to make concessions to customers that you wouldn't make if you didn't have a dedicated person to do it. So if I'm doing a repair and somebody calls me 5 times a day, I may make concessions on the phone, and I may say, fuck it, like, if I would usually charge extra for this, I may just not because I just don't want to deal with the friction. But in B, if they're calling 5 or 6 times a day, I may half-ass their repair where I otherwise would not half-ass their repair because they won't leave me the fuck alone. However, if I have a Steve is going, I'm going to be dealing with the repair. So I'm going to be, even if it's a difficult repair, I'm going to be able to focus on it 100% and do it properly. And Steve is going to be able to deal with the customer, make the customer humble for calling 5 times in a fucking day because they're not stressed about the repair. So they'll be in the state of mind, in the state of zen to be able to humble that customer. And making people humble is important. And he'll also be able, if something winds up costing more, they're asking for additional services. Again, since he doesn't have to worry about the stress of doing a repair, he's just sitting there on the phone all day. He's happy to go back and forth for 45 minutes about why that's going to cost more money and why I can't do it for free. So it's not about whether or not I have a different employee doing it, because I think I can deal with most of the customers that Steve deals with. I have a very Asperger's-ish or autistic way of dealing with people, and the way that I compensate for that when I'm doing customer services with a sociopathic superficial charm. It's not my personality. Like the personality that I have when I'm dealing with customers is not even remotely close to reality. It's just it's the person face that I have to put on so that I can engage and do customer service without getting 1-star reviews at the wazoo. Because if you look at the reviews of my business, they were actually pretty good even before. Steve started working here. So Steve started working here and was like, so essentially he was hired to be a tech. But the thing is that he saw how Milan and I were dealing with people. And he was also kind of slow at fixing iPads at the time. Milan was like 2 or 3 times as fast. The moment he saw the way Milan and I would deal with people when we would get pissed off, he would literally walk in front of us and go, no, just go back in there, I got it. And that's how he got the job of customer service. He got so tired of hearing, like Milan would go, no. He was Serbian and he had this Serbian accent, but he also had this Eastern European thing. I don't know, it's like an Eastern European thing where like when they're pissed off at you, you know that guy, I forget the name of it. There's this one, I forget soccer or tennis player that's just, he's really pissed off at the fact that this reporter is asking him questions and he's like, oh, so you don't have a camera crew. Oh, so you're low budget. Oh, so you have no money. Like it's I don't know what it is. It's this Eastern European shit and it's absolutely fucking hysterical. If anybody, I think his name is Djokovic or something. I forget the name. There was this one tennis player or a tennis or soccer player and he's getting asked a bunch of questions. And he's like, oh, are you a reporter or a cameraman? Oh, so you are low budget. And he's like, well, I'm both. No. Who is it that said that? Let's see. Here we go. Let's see if I can find this. So you are low budget. I love this. I love this clip. And Milan was just like that. Like the moment somebody was even the tiniest bit, the slightest bit of a wise ass to him, or like asking for a discount, or like why does it take so long? He just went full Eastern European on them, and just like with the smirk and the, I don't know. It is always funny. I want to see if I can find this. I don't know. I'm not gonna find this clip. I don't know why I can't find this clip right now. If anybody finds it and can post it in the chat, I'd love to play it. But like Steve kind of saw the way that we would go back and forth on this shit, and he's like, you know, like, no, fuck that. Like you guys suck at dealing with people. Go back in your fucking room and fix shit. And so, but the point is, I still was able to do it. Again, my review. It's not like my reviews were all 1-star, and then in spring of 2013 they were all 5-star. But the thing is that you need to be fresh in doing your job. You can't do proper customer service if you have like 30 tickets that you know you have to work on that are stressing you out. And if you know that you're going to have to deal with 80 customer phone calls, you're not going to be putting your best game into the repairs that you have. Your head is not going to be in it. So it is good to have some level of separation there. What is the state of right to repair in New Hampshire? There is no state of right to repair in New Hampshire. I just got here, bro. I just got here, man. We're also focusing on states that have, you know, like population 10 million, 20 million, 50 million. Because like if you do something in a really, really small state, it's easy for the manufacturer to just say, like, okay, fine, fuck it, we just won't sell to you. I'm behind in chat by 16 minutes. I'm sure this is being asked, why are you being audited? I don't understand how I could have an answer to that question. So the state does this thing where I'm going to take a guess, where they put a bunch of names in a hat, and they shake the hat, and they do this, and they pick one out of it. And that's the business. I don't fucking know. How the fuck would I know how they choose who they audit? I have no clue. We'll see. Fuck the word problematic. I agree with you, Brian Ingram. 2,000 years insulting to the point of disbelief. I'd laugh at them as a reflex. Yeah, I could see they were trying to like lean towards that thing of, we don't really want to commit to anything until you do some work as a trial for us. And it's like, nah, bro, no. I didn't get did I get right to repair passed in New York State? No. Did I collect the money that then got used to mobilize the people that did get it passed? Yeah. Do I 1.7 million subscribers, had a successful business at least up until my own, like, no, like, fuck that. You want me to be on my board? No, fuck that, pay me. When is conspiracy revealed on plastic work here? What? I don't understand that, I'm sorry. I appreciate the $2, but that sentence structure makes no sense to me, and I don't understand your question. Yeah, like, I can't. Like, it's kind of like when there's a woman that, like, says, like, I want to be friends with you for 6 months because I don't really know if you'd be boyfriend material. It's like, nah, fuck that. Like, you've known me for a long period of time. No. If you, like, it's one or the other. No. If you're not interested, I'm sure somebody else will be. Like, no, you're not paying me, like, this little amount of money, and then if we like you, then, like, no, fuck that. You like, no. I don't do that shit. And none of you should either. Like, if you have a track record and you have work and you have a reputation, like, people should pay you for it. And if they're not willing to pay you for it, fuck off. Or if you're a conspiracy theorist, it's retaliation for negative videos about the way the city manages things and rants about political higher-ups. I sincerely doubt that's the case. I genuinely don't believe that New York State has that level of vindictiveness. I don't believe that they're competent enough to even direct something like that without it coming out publicly. Because again, you would have to be in order to have a conspiracy, you have to be competent enough to keep that conspiracy under wraps. You have to, again, the more people know about a conspiracy, the more potential there is for somebody to make $350,000 for 10 minutes of their time talking on Fox News or ABC about the evidence of the conspiracy. So it's like, I don't believe that this state or this city is even competent enough to keep a conspiracy under wraps, much less actually have the time for it. Why do you need a job when you own a great computer repair business? I would need a job in the case that my audit does not go well and I no longer own a computer repair business because the first ask that they made was for 3 times the amount of money that I actually have. And if that's the case, I would need to make 3 times the money I actually have, so I have that to hand to the state and the city, or enough money to be able to support a lawyer that would fight this back and forth for 2 to 5 years in court. Should be costly. Or it'll go well. You never know. Maybe it'll go well. Maybe New York State and New York City bureaucracy will function as it is supposed. I can't even finish that sentence. I'm sorry. I can't even finish that sentence. Oh my God, it's so funny. Well, you shave your head when grays come in. Oh, I have a ton of gray. It's the lighting makes it impossible. So on the top of my head, you don't see them because of lighting, but on the side of my head, when I have these lights instead of the ceiling lights, it's like it's gray like crazy. So in the videos, since the light that's shining on the top of my head is usually the weak light from the ceiling rather than the strong light coming from these B&H light fixtures that I have, what you're seeing, this is the real hair color. This is the fake hair color that you see because of shitty lighting. But this gray shit over here is the real. So yeah, it's already gray. Bye-bye, overpowering cunt. Bye-bye, you incel fuck. Bye-bye, you incel fuck. Alright. Why need it? Oh, I answered that one. Banned incel fuck. What's next? You can... That's... What do you think about the future of mom and pop businesses in Manhattan? I'm surprised they have one, honestly. Evie Grieve is a really cool blog, and they kind of go over new places that are opening and also new places that are closing, and they've been around for over 10 years. It's an interesting blog. Like, they go over a lot of stuff going on in the East Village, but a lot of what they go over is, no way, not this place. First Avenue, Old Timer, Royal Bangladesh Indian Restaurant. No. Okay, so these were competing Indian restaurants, right? These restaurants used to compete with each other, and they were right next to each other. And they would have somebody waiting at the door, and the moment you walked up the stairs, like one guy would go, come into my restaurant, and the other guy would go, no, come into my restaurant. And be like, no, our food's better. No, our prices are better. It was so funny. So you'd be walking up the stairs, and you wouldn't even know which restaurant you wanted to go into, but they would fight to try to get you to go into their restaurant versus the competing one. It was so cool. Well, anyway, yeah, you can see this was happening way before COVID. Like all these places that are closing and now you're just getting replaced with retail space for lease. Reader report, this has closed, this has closed, this has closed. I was kind of sad that I never made it there. Let's see. Maybe did I ever make it? I was a fond reader of Evie Grieve. It's the grieving the death of the East Village. This was a really cool blog. Let's see. Did I ever make it to this site? Let's see. Oh, I'm kind of curious. Nah. Reader mailbag, where can I get my Mac fixed? Oh, okay, that's just a reader letter. Fire at my building. That was a fire in my building that just so happened to happen right after the building transferred ownership. Oh, isn't that lovely? Right after the building gets sold to somebody, it goes on fire. And this is an Associated Supermarket. So okay, they cover almost every business that closes in the East Village. Almost every business that closes in the East Village. But still, in all seriousness, it's a good resource, and you'll see that there's a lot of places that have been closing over the years, even way before COVID. My roommate cheated on his girlfriend and convinced her it was her fault. I can't even, says Kinto Zero. What was his argument? I'm very curious. It's really hard for me to comment on any of that stuff without knowing the entire situation. What would be your ideal education mentioned from the ground up? I honestly don't know, but the thing is, it starts with getting rid of what we have now and starting from scratch. It's just nobody wants to do that. I can't tell you what would work. I can tell you what doesn't work. I'm a proponent of getting rid of what doesn't work before making what does work, because there's not going to be incentive structure in place to be able to come up with what does work until you get rid of what doesn't work. You have to get rid of what doesn't work to have the motivation and the incentive to go after something new. How do I incentivize my friends to switch to Android? I mean, don't bother. I like. Why do you have to have why are you personally invested in what your friends choose to use? Put the shades back on. My sunglasses are in my car, downstairs. How do you make customers humble? I mean, you take the time to politely and kindly point out why what they're asking for is ridiculous, and like the thing is, you can't tell them that they're asking for something unreasonable. You need to get that. You can't just implant a thought in your mind. You need to get them to come to the conclusion on their own that what they're asking for is unreasonable. So you kind of have to walk all the way. Instead of like, pointing over here, you kind of have to walk them on a trip right over here so that they're close enough that they could see over here, but without you actually pointing to it. It's a difficult thing. I've wanted to get Steve to do videos on this for like 7 years, but he's not exactly excited about showing up on camera. But like he's a pro at that shit. He really is. Like he is so good at getting people to feel like such like just small insignificant pieces of shit when they're acting like an asshole. Like he's really good at getting people to feel shame when they act like assholes. He's very good at it. It's a talent. Do you think it's wrong to date your coworkers? No. No, I don't think that's wrong at all. Listen, if you spend 10 or 12 hours a day at work, when the fuck are you supposed to socialize? Like, I mean, truly, like a lot of people spend their entire day at work. Like when you if you work from 8 in the morning to 10 at night, like when are you supposed to socialize? Like where are you going to meet people? There's 2 people at work that I know that met their spouse at Rossmann Repair. They're married. They're happy, Listening to this at 3 a.m. from the Netherlands. I'm going to listen to the Zen to fall asleep to. Cool, Joris. Do you think you get tired from 100 reps of 100 pounds? Marathon for your arms. I got my body ready for 12 shifts. 12-hour shifts to be easy. I've never tried high reps. I'm really bad at doing high reps. What I usually wind up doing is higher weight, lower reps. I'm very bad at endurance work or work capacity. I love the videos you posted where you call the customer back with their roots of your employees. That's boss right there. Yeah, like it's shit like that will keep me from ever being a 5-star business on Google Places. Like I could be 5-star if I were just willing to take the fellatio or like, provide the fellatio to douchebags. I can't fucking do it. I can't do it. Nobody here can. Nobody here can. Steve can, Kevin can, I can't. We can't do it. Because we used to have to for our other jobs. We go above and beyond and we bust our balls to make people happy by doing shit that other places are not going to try to do. But like the moment you cross that line, it's like, get the fuck out of here. I make art for a magazine about memes and culture. I wanted to sneak you in as a background cameo. Okay. How's your evening going? It's rainy here in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada. My evening is going all right. Thank you very much. Watching your last video, I think you'd be a fantastic lobbyist if you weren't so humble. I did a couple of videos, a series of videos that I wound up actually deleting on the advice of my friends on what I would say and what I would do if I was an anti-right to repair lobbyist. So what I did is I played the testimony of the opposite opponents to right to repair. I explained why it was dumb, and then I said, here's what I would say if I actually, if I didn't have millions of dollars with which to try and, sway things. If I didn't have the benefit of money. And I had to make better arguments. Here's what I would say. Aw, lame. I gotta close the window. The neighbor is smoking cigarettes. Boo. The clip on the DPA 4066 versus the 40 is really not suboptimal. I miss my 4065 so much. How are the women in New Hampshire, bro? I don't know. Old, I suppose? Lots of old? So I've met 2 classes of women in New Hampshire. The class A are women that are between the age of like 57 to 90, and class B are women that are happily married or in a long-term relationship that just moved here from Boston or other areas of Massachusetts. I haven't met. Honestly, it's like that's one thing I'll give it for New York City. Like if you're single and you want to meet single women. New York City, like, again, there's going to be a lot of clusterfucks. There's going to be a lot of people with daddy issues, a lot of people that are, like, trying to become, the next fucking famous artist and some shit. There's going to be a lot of stuff that's just not compatible with seeking a relationship, but there's a lot of women to choose from in New York City. Like, in New Hampshire, again, I've met I've met a lot of women in between the age of 57 and 90. No. And there's a lot of women that are engaged or happily married that just came up here from Boston, or like that, you know, let's say they were in a long-term relationship. After COVID happened, they figured, you know, we should have probably, you know, started thinking about having a family already. I've talked to a lot of women like this so far here. I should have probably, you know, I probably should have been on the road to having a family. I'm like 28 or 30 anyway. I've been with this guy for 2 years. Everything's closed here. Let's buy a house. So they, you know, they go to Nashua or Manchester or Hollis, or what's the neighborhood next to that, or Litchfield or something, and they buy a house, and then they, you know, they get engaged or have kids. So it's been a lot of that. I would, again, I could be wrong. I haven't really. I've only spent like 4 or 5 months here so far. I did a decent amount of traveling for the right to repair shit. I took the trip to Florida. I took a trip to Dubai. So again, I've probably really, like, realistically speaking, if you consider the amount of time I spent in Florida, other country, and other stuff, I probably spent like 3 months here so far. So, you know, take that for what it is. But yeah, if you like the asking about it, it's definitely a different type of state to be single in compared to a place like New York City. But again, haven't spent a lot of time. I'm concerned about you. I've never seen purple. Oh, get out of here. Honestly. No, this concern trolling. Go away. I'm so sick and tired of the concern trolling. You're not a doctor. Just go away. Has Louis ever laughed? From time to time. They start to audit you before or after you made videos criticizing the mayor. After. So this was in, I believe, September of 2021. That actually happened a month after I thought my business was gonna get shut down because of the business licensing thing. Yeah, it's interesting. The timing of it was interesting. It's actually 2 months after I did that video in early July about the business license thing. Very interesting. Maybe a politician who hates right to repair caused the audit. Again, I don't think so. Yeah, it's really difficult to keep a conspiracy under wraps because there's such an incentive structure nowadays. Again, if you just take that shit and run it over to Anderson Cooper or Tucker Carlson, like, there's gonna be a $400,000 or $300,000 payout for you. So in order to keep a conspiracy under wraps, you need to either make sure everybody in the conspiracy is so personally invested that the $300,000 to $400,000 payout and the book deal and all the shit of showing up on Tucker Carlson and Anderson Cooper is not worth it to them because they really hate me that much. They just want to go after me. B, be highly competent and organized. Does New York State and city government seem like they're highly competent and organized? And do you think any of the people that are involved in this would, again, if they were asked by the superior, yeah, fuck this dude. Yeah, just like go after him and destroy his life. If there was like genuine evidence of that, I mean, I've looked it up. You know, these auditors get paid $60,000 a year. That's not shit in New York State. Like, if I were them and my boss asked me to do something illegal or illegitimate, I'd fucking take that shit over to Anderson Cooper or Tucker Carlson and get my bag. What camera are you using? I'm using a Sony a5100 with a broken flash that I got on eBay. So because I don't use this as a photo camera, because I just use it for video, what I like to do is, this is a really good camera with a really good sensor, and you can usually find it pretty cheaply. There's usually good deals on eBay where the flash doesn't work because the flash dies on a lot of them, so people will sell it with the flash being broken. And I got this for about $220 or $250 with a broken flash. And it works really well. You know, you just have to get a battery adapter for it. You get a battery adapter so that I can plug it into the wall and not have to worry about the battery dying in the middle of a stream because it charges the battery insanely slow. And I have an HDMI capture thing that I got for $30 on Amazon, and that works excellently. Works excellently. Why would somebody shave their hair for going gray? That's major insecure. I don't know. I'm not going to shave my hair when it goes gray. I would shave my hair if it grew in pink or aqua or something, but I'm not going to shave my hair because it's gray. I would definitely shave my hair if it went aqua. What do women think about facial hair? When you grow it out, my girlfriend says you'd look better with a beard. Almost every woman I've went out with has said that they would want to see me grow a beard. But I don't base my grooming habits on what a woman that I'm like. I'm not going to change the entire way that I dress, the way that I appear, what I drive, what I do, what I think, based on what somebody I'm dating says. This just feels weird. But yeah, the women that I've dated have usually said that they would prefer that I try to grow a beard. But I don't want to grow a beard. It feels weird. I feel like a bum every time I try to grow a beard. Are you quitting repairs? I haven't been following it a bit. I don't know. Well, we'll see. One way to find out. We'll see in the future months. Someone in Discord called me out for having a good job. That made me think of how hard it would be to find another job that pays as much. I was surprised that you got the job that you did at the pay that you did based on the fact that you tried to plug a MagSafe into a charger into a USB port. I'll be honest with you. Like, from the moment that I saw that, it's just, it's impossible for me to erase that memory from my mind. You decide on whether you're going to drive or fly to Austin. Most likely fly. I'm most likely going to fly since they're offering to reimburse it for it. Gaslighting your customers, nice. It's not gaslighting. It's when somebody tries to scam you, you point out that they're trying to scam you. Hey, like weather in New Hampshire. It's much better in the summer than the winter. It's not the cold that gets me in the winter. It's the seasonal affective disorder from it being constantly cloudy and dreary all the time. Although the negative 14 degrees admittedly does suck. That does get old. Your comments in the future are getting dumber and dumber. Would you stay in New York City if it was up to you? I used to think I hated after some years in suburbia realizing its benefits. I don't know. I think if it were more affordable, if it were more affordable and the government were better, I'd be open to staying there. But I don't know. Is there something about areas that are that intensely crowded that gets old after a while? New job requires me to look at connectors with tags and compare it to a connector I'm plugging into, so it requires half a brain. I hope you're using the half a brain there more than you used it here. Yeah, when I hung out in New York City on the weekends, I had girls interested in me, and I was interested in a bunch of girls. It was a great time. What I've experienced in Denver is women already in relationships, women with kids, women I'm just not interested in dating, and believe me, I'm not picky. I haven't been to Colorado, but it sounds like the same thing. What audit is going on in New York City? Same audit that's been going on for the past 8 months now. A little scruff would be cute, but you're perfect the way you are. Why, thank you, Alana. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. How can you owe 3 times that you have previously said you have hired a professional CPA since day one and operate above board? Well, what they would claim is that things that were not sales taxable in the past, that were not sales taxable during previous audits, are now magically sales taxable because they decided it is. And that since I did not collect sales tax on it, that not only do I owe the sales tax that I did not collect, but that I also owe penalties and interest over a period of 3 to 5 years, which comes at, now the money is not, this is not a case of me not reporting income, because this is not a income tax audit. This is a sales tax audit. So this is not a case, it's a case of me not collecting that sales tax from customers. So it's not even like this is money I made and didn't report. This is tax that I never took from the customer, that they're saying you should have taken from the customer, and since you didn't, we're just going to ask for it from you and then add interest and penalties over a period of 3 years. And they're also lopping in a bunch of other shit in there, like Amazon affiliate links, like YouTube revenue, like just shit that's fundamentally not sales taxable because there wasn't even a sale. Like just crazy stuff like that. I emailed you a business proposition. I delete almost all of those because they suck. 99% of them are spam, so I almost delete them immediately. I'm entering the Boofmaster 5000 to smuggle gold out of New York City when they start confiscating prop. I appreciate the $5. Thank you for getting me to laugh. But yeah, the absolute TLDR of that is if I never collected the money from customers, I don't have it to give them, which is how you get to the whole owing 3x what I have in the bank. And if that's the case, then, I don't know, game over for me. I had a good run. I had like 12, 10, 15 years. I had a good 10 or 15 years. Can't win forever. You wait to the end to see how everything goes. I'll wait till the end to see how everything goes. You don't need to spend money to be a simp. Is that true? We'll see how things go. Rich Rebuild sends us shavings and envelopes as gifts, unexpected ones. What do you think about the fact that soon we won't be able to tell people apart from bot comments on YouTube? I don't know. It's hard to tell how many of them... I don't think it's bot comments that is a problem. I think it's just actual people that are stupid or brainwashed. Toronto's ex-mayor tried to hire a hitman and got away with it, and after that his brother got elected. It's rigged. Is that true? Attending to data is not worth the hassle to me. I don't know. I think I think it's worth it to not be alone. People, we're social creatures. I don't think you're meant to die alone. Do you think there's a moral issue with dating one of your viewers? No. Now, okay, how do I put this? Okay, if I were Justin Bieber and I had a fan base where much of it was 12-year-old girls and I start dating a 12 or a 13-year-old, that's fucked up. That's fucked up, right? But if somebody's watches my channel and is into engineering and is 27 years old and is a programmer and shows up to a meetup of mine and we kick it off, no, I don't consider that weird at all. It really depends on what you're doing. Again, if you know that your fan base is primarily 12 and 13-year-old girls and you're in your 40s and yeah, it's fucked up. But if somebody shows up to a meetup that I do and it's they have similar interests and they've been watching for a while and they're into engineering or repair or something and we hit it off, I wouldn't consider that immoral at all. Now, if somebody's a super fan, if somebody's some sort of super fan and you can tell that there's a serious parasocial relationship going on where they idolize you and you start taking advantage of that, I would say that borders on creepy. I wouldn't say that that's immoral, but I would say that that's creepy because you could tell the difference between a viewer and a fan and a parasocial fan. There's viewers, it's oh, I agree with you here, I disagree with you here, this is interesting, but I have my own life. And then there are parasocial fans where it's I live through you. I want to know where you live. I want pieces of your hair to be next to me. I want to wear your skin so I can feel like I'm closer to you kind of people. And that that's kind of fucked up. I worked a night shift and it's great to see a live stream during lunch break. Thank you for shooting the shit with us. Thank you, elongated carrot. Brad Haynes called Alana a simp. That's not very nice, Brad. Not very nice at all. Or should I call you Let's Go Brandon since you misspelled my name yesterday? I forgot, I'm not supposed to be calling you Brad. I'm supposed to be calling you Let's Go Brandon. What happens if they want more money than you have? I go away. I go away. I go away. My business goes away. My possessions go away. I get a job as a Walmart greeter or some shit, and I pay it off over the next 20 years. Let's see. It's true simps don't have the confidence to flirt, so really it's just ass kissing. I don't even know if it's about confidence. Okay, so part of it is confidence. Part of it is confidence. But I think another part of it is that there are people that just fundamentally never learned how to flirt. Some people know how to flirt innately. They learned during, they experimented during school. And there are some people that were socially weird during school. They weren't liked by anybody, so they never really had the chance. Their parents didn't have a working relationship, so they didn't get to see the back and forth banter between their parents. And it's not like this is shit that you learn in fucking school. God forbid we actually teach people the basics of socialization before we let them out into the world. They need to know that a squared plus b squared is equal c squared and everything else. And, polynomials and everything else. But the point there is that there are people that it's not even about confidence. It's that they fundamentally, deep down, they don't know. They don't know what to do. They genuinely don't know what to do. So it's not even a confidence problem. It's a I don't know what to do problem. And the thing that makes them not confident is not knowing what to do. If you ask me to, If you ask me to explain the chemical reaction that happens when, I don't know, chlorine gas turns into water or something, it's not that I lack confidence. That the confidence is not the primary problem. The primary problem is that I don't know jack shit about chemistry. So if you ask me to go to a chalkboard and write down how that interaction works, yeah, I'm not confident, but the reason I'm not confident, like the actual root cause, is that I don't know jack shit about it. So I don't think the problem necessarily is when we talk about simps and the fact that they suck up because they can't flirt. The issue, I don't think it's an issue of confidence. I think it's an issue of like they fundamentally don't know what to do. It's not that the lack of confidence is just magically there. The lack of confidence stems from having no knowledge on what it is you actually do. How long does the battery in your Framework laptop pass? I have no idea, bro. I've never, I don't know. I don't open the computer, start using it, and put on a timer, and then go, okay, it's been, I don't know. I'm sorry, Doug. I don't have an answer. I've never timed how long a battery has worked in my device in my life. Like, I closed the lid, let me stop the timer. I don't know. I've never done that. What do you think is an okay age gap for people to date? Probably a larger number than would be considered acceptable by most people here. I genuinely don't see I really don't see a problem with a 10-year age gap, a 15-year age gap, 20-year age gap. I'm not saying it's the ideal. I'm not saying it's what I go for, but yeah, I'm definitely not seeing it. Like if a 40-year-old guy is going out with a 23-year-old woman, I don't care. I don't go, oh my God, that's yeah. It's not something I've ever really cared about. Ah, yes, the I want to wear your skin people. Definitely strange. Have you seen the boys from Goon Squad? One lost his finger while riding the one wheel. Well, yeah, somebody commented, I forget if it was in a recent YouTube video, they said I should check out Goon Squad, and I did, and I didn't see any video on it, so I gave up. So let's see. Oh shit, okay, they just posted it, never mind, they posted it 7 hours ago. Yeah, the last thing I saw was our Porsche catches on fire and I go to the hospital. But it said we got beat up, might have to quit we got beat up, might have to quit YouTube. Is this it? Missing finger. Was this because of one wheel? Is it this one? So this just got posted. So this was posted after I got asked about it. But I didn't. Dude is saying my full shit posting name. Elongated Carrot. That's kind of a strange name, man. Have you ever told you look like John Lovitz? I don't know who that is. I don't know what a Romeo and Juliet law is. Bob Newhart in Hampton. Do you ever get... I don't know who that is. I don't know. You guys are making a bunch of references I don't understand. What happened with Troy and the girl? I don't know. You got to see if he comes back. Maybe he's on a date right now. You never know. Socially weird during school, says, let's go Brandon Haynes. I grew up with a single mom. Flirting does not compete with me. Again, if you grew up with a single mom, then you probably didn't see flirting. I mean, you didn't see your parents socialize back and forth. If you were weird during school, people probably didn't talk to you. So is it an issue of confidence with you when you don't flirt? Or is it you don't know how because nobody ever taught you? There's not a class in school. If you don't get along with other people, they're not going to show you. It's like, you got to figure this shit out for yourself. And if you don't figure it out for yourself, then you're fucked for life. That's the way, for a lot of people, that's what it's like with flirting. How would you teach a flirting class? That's some weirdo shit. It's not weirdo shit. I mean, it's a basic skill. I mean, you see how many people now don't know how to flirt and wind up doing really creepy things, saying really creepy things, becoming insane, like becoming very, very weird and more distorted versions of themselves as a result of being alone for their entire life and being isolated and becoming weirder and weirder and weirder. I don't think it would be weird to just demonstrate some of the most basic fundamentals of socialization. That flirting topic while joining nice. I have a kid that I take out to eat at a restaurant and just go over basic conversational skills and how to follow a conversation. It helps. Your kid or somebody else's kid? What? JD says, I'm a social fuck up, was never trained up proper. Now I'm trying to change up my game. Never too late to learn new tricks. True, never too late to learn something new. Are we moving to start a new location in New York City? No. I zoned out, so how do you flirt again? I'm not turning this into a fucking dating channel. Fuck out of here. Do you see yourself getting burnt out and being a right to repair advocate ever? No, I do see myself getting burnt out dealing with business bullshit, but I don't see myself getting burnt out being a right to repair advocate. Where are the sunglasses? They're in the back seat of my car. I forgot them there. Oddly, I think I'd struggle to intellectually describe good ways to flirt, but do well in the moment. Maybe demonstrating it in the moment. And then having somebody go over things there and like the basic concepts of it. Or just the basic concepts of socialization in general. You're 30 years old and fine with a 20-year age. Okay, we're done. Bye-bye. You're out of here. You're a little cunt. Nope, that's not what I said. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, I said 21 and 41. Nope. Fuck off. Nope. Your comments have been garbage this entire time, and now you're out of here. Are you down to marry a single mother? Nope. No interest in raising somebody else's kid. Nope. 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 It would depend where I was in the socioeconomic ladder, I suppose. If I didn't have if I didn't have a skill set and I had spent like 10 years or 20 years of my life in jail and I got out of shape, it's like, okay, well, these are the options available to me. I guess I'm going to have to settle at some point for something less than what I wanted. I don't think everybody has to settle. Most people are average, so you're going to have to settle for somebody who is average themselves. But I don't think I have to go that far down the train. Like, I think the basic thing of I would like to date somebody, I would like to marry somebody that does not have any pre-existing children from other dudes. I think that I have done enough that I can earn that. I think I've put enough effort into my life, my business, my reputation, my fitness, my personal grooming, my intellect, my social skills to where I can ask for that, and that's not unreasonable. I'm not asking for a woman to have, giant boobs, a giant ass, to be rich, to look like Shakira, to be a rock star. But I think I'm not I think I'm realistic with myself. No kids. Like, I could marry somebody that is of average intelligence, or I could marry somebody that doesn't really make a lot of money. I could marry somebody that's a 4 to 5 out of 10 in looks. Cooperative, kind, doesn't have another dude's kids. Like, that shit's non-negotiable. Cooperative, kind, doesn't have another dude's kids. I think that that's reasonable. The problem is that learning how to socialize requires other people. It does, and if you're separated from other people, then you're kind of fucked. Alana Lorenz says, Shakira is now single, Louis. Now might be your chance. You see, here's the thing. How do I put this? I don't think most men deal with what is possible. I think they deal with probable. Would it be possible that since Shakira is single, however, probability, we deal with probabilities, not possibilities. Like, again, anything is possible, but we deal with probable. Like, as a result of that, I'm, I stay in my lane. I stick to I want to wear your skin. Okay, you know what? You probably knew that was going to get you a timeout, and now you said something you shouldn't have said just there. Isn't it nice to dream of dating some famous actress? I had a chance at dating an actress and I ruined that. Then I probably never had that chance. There's only one actress that I have had a genuine crush on for 6 years, but I don't mention it anymore because I used to say this when it was a joke because I had about like 800 subscribers and nobody watched this channel. But now I have 1.7 million, so I have enough subscribers that if I continue to talk about that publicly, people, you never know, people may actually fucking start harassing her or some shit. So I don't want to touch that. But I did have a celebrity crush a really long time ago on a particular actress. How often do you run into parasocial fans, and what kind of ratio do they make up of people that you meet through the channel directly? I would say 50% of the people that I meet in person from this channel are nice, kind-hearted, have healthy mental stability, have decent, have good lives, are good people. And the other 50% that I meet are absolutely off their rocker, fucking insane, parasocial stalker lunatics. But that's, again, that's selection bias, because the type of people that are going to go out of their way to go, I'm going to visit Louis Rossmann's store and I'm going to wait outside of it until he comes out. That there's a selection bias there where that's going to be attracting the craziest. I'm going to say Bob Neward in Hampton. Do you ever run into... I don't know who the fuck that is. Why are you asking if I run into random people on the street? That makes no fucking sense, JD. What do you... I don't know who that is. No, I don't know if... I don't ask people on the street who they're fucking... like, well, what is your name? What is your name? What is your name? I don't know. That's a silly question. Would you really find a job at Walmart, or would you consider to restart and rebuild your business? No, I wouldn't start from scratch to rebuild a business. No. Nah. I'd get a new job doing something else. I have a business. If my business gets destroyed, then we do something else. If business gets destroyed, we go do something else. Like building a business would require money and time. Like for the first few years that I would, I have a lifestyle. Like when I started this business, I made no money. It took me 4 months to build up to where I was making $400 a month. And then it took like another year to build up to making like $700 to $1,000 a week. I don't want to spend years. I don't want to spend a year making $400 a month. So what I would probably do is I would get a job doing something else. I don't know what I would do because I don't want to say. What the fuck happened to my microphone? Here we go. You'd be an interesting Walmart greeter. I think I'd be a damn fucking charming Walmart greeter at that. I'd be a kick-ass Walmart greeter. The clips on this mic are really killing me. I really missed it to 4065. I don't know why I got a 4066. What happened with Troy and the girl? I don't know. You should ask him. Why don't girls realize having beta orbiters around can be a dangerous thing? What makes it a dangerous thing? It's okay to be shy rather than get stuck in an unplanned parents thing, young or crabs or worse. I don't think that's the choice. I don't think you have to choose between either being shy or becoming a baby daddy. I think there's an in-between there that's being missed. You could use being a Walmart greeter to talk about people about right to repair or hit on people who walk in. You got high down for them. I appreciate that you look on the upside, John. Where am I? My chat just went to the back, went up, and I have to find out where I was before. To give you an example of something New York City said you should have collected sales tax on that you didn't. They haven't even pointed to specific things. What they've done is essentially, after asking for all the documentation, what they did is they said, okay, here is the gross amount of money you made. Here's what you paid in sales tax. The difference between 8.875% of your gross and what you paid in sales tax is what we want, plus interest and penalties for 3 years. So they haven't said, well, this specific thing is something that you should have been, oh my God, what that's, have you noticed your New York attitude follows you wherever you go? I recently moved from Phoenix to Long Island. Apparently my accent and attitude seem to be a dead giveaway everywhere I meet. Honestly, yeah, it has, and I'm not really ashamed of it, I'm not ashamed of it because I don't feel like I'm necessarily compatible with I'm not like your Williams, your modern Bushwick, Williamsburg style hipster. I'm more of like, I don't think that that's the New York personality that I have. I think I have a more classic New York personality and work ethic as well. And I'm proud of that. Like they didn't say, well, this specific service or this specific sale, according to this specific title and code in New York State tax code, needs to be sales taxable. They literally, I sent them every piece of info they wanted, and they just said, okay, here's your gross. Why have you not given us 8.875% of your gross? And it's like, because that wasn't fucking taxable, bro. And again, we are 9 months into it now, so that's just kind of starting to tick me off. Like in the beginning, it's like, fine, I get it, shit takes time. But it's like, we're 9 months in, man. Like, can we get to the chase? Like, even if you are going to rate me, can you just tell me so that I can be mentally prepared and move on with my life? Like, if I don't have a business anymore, that's fine. I get it. Mea culpa. I had a good run. Just let me know. Don't leave me in suspense for another 1 or 3 years while you figure shit out so I can get on with my life. When it came to this other thing, so when it came to the issue of selling laptops, I never got an answer on this. To be clear, I've contacted the commissioner, I've contacted politicians, I've contacted the fucking DCA. When it came to this issue, New York City doesn't know its own laws. I went over this last year. I still haven't gotten an answer to that. But that was a fine of about $1,000 or so. So it's like, fine, whatever, slap on the wrist, I move on, it doesn't matter. I don't want to wait years to figure out the conclusion to this because it's not 1,000 that's being asked for. It's several more zeros in the end. I just want to know so I can get on with my life. Like, let me have closure. Let me know what I'm doing. And that's just asking too much, apparently. Anyway, grew up Mormon and never got to see normal relationships start up. I've always felt behind in interacting with people. Happy to validate your point. Yeah, I think a lot of people need to see this stuff in early childhood. They need to understand what relationship behavior is like to some extent in order to be able to feel confident when they flirt. You can't, again, it's not a lack of confidence when it comes to flirting. It's if you don't know how to do something, you're not going to have confidence in it. It's not, my issue with flying a plane is not that I lack confidence. You wouldn't say I lack confidence. You would say, he has never flown a plane before outside of playing Air Combat on his PlayStation 1. Why do I get an email telling me I want a John Deere mower? It's scary that spammers even push John Deere. That's weird. I think Louis said it best, make her smile. Yeah, but again, you need to know how to do that. I think it has to do with lack of social skills. The more you go out there and interact with people, the easier it is to talk to women. Simply just go with what they know is worship or give money. Yeah, sadly. Have you talked to Destiny recently? He's interested in getting back into political advocacy. I don't think he ever stopped. I mean, he's been into political advocacy the entire time. I had a dinner with him at Fogo de Chao in Miami, and he said that me getting the right to repair bill passed has inspired him to try and get some other stuff passed. And I'm like, dude, go for it. I mean, by all means, go for it. Your audience is 10 times the size of mine. When I do a live stream, I have 373 people watching. When you do a live stream, you have 9,000 people watching. That is 30 times, his audience is 30 times the size of mine. So you could affect some serious fucking change. And you're also better at getting your ideas across than I am. You're better at debating than I am. You have more knowledge about the general political sphere. So, I mean, by all means, if I can get something done with my brain, then you can definitely get something done with yours. So I hope he gets something done. We're both going to some conference in Austin together, so we may wind up getting dinner again there. He's a nice dude in person. I've gotten along with him well in the few times that I've seen him in person or gotten dinner with him. All right, back to single life. That is a question that is going to be paywalled from now on because I answer it 10 times a day. $50 for anybody who wants to have an answer to that question. I like this. I'm liking the new Louis. Yeah, we're going to put that shit behind a paywall. There's nothing weird about teaching people how to socialize. It's something I really struggle with as a young teen. I still struggle with now. I'm a socially retarded man. Yeah, again, like when somebody said flirting is getting, somebody said, I forget the comment, and I'm afraid to scroll up again because the YouTube chat window sucks and will scroll me all the way back up if I go up too much. But like when somebody said, you just have to do it more often, the more you go out there and interact with people, here we go, the easier it is to talk to women. But the problem is if you talk to people and you don't know how to talk to people, if you don't know how to talk to somebody and you try, you're probably going to come off creepy. If you come off creepy, you're going to get a negative reaction. If you get a negative reaction, then you're going to have low confidence and you're going to feel bad about yourself and you're going to be less likely to do it again, or you're going to be more nervous when you do it again. The more nervous you are each time you do it, the more creepy you're going to come off because you're coming off as nervous and weird. So it's this really negative spiral for a lot of people. And the way that you prevent this to happening in the first place is have some basic concept of how to speak and socialize with other people. Will you become a right to dating advocate next? No. You really would settle for an average woman with your looks? Yes. I mean, I'm an average looking dude. Listen, like a lot of people have crazy expectations. When I did that video after Kevin Samuels' death, I didn't watch a lot of his stuff. My personal trainer did watch his stuff and took it really badly when he died. It's really weird. Actually, a lot of his friends also took it really badly when he died. But when I did a video, like I just went over the top 2 or 4 of his videos to see how much research the New York Times or Guardian did, and as usual when it comes to these types of cultural issues that go against their side, they did virtually none of it. Like there was somebody that makes $50,000 a year, and the idea of dating a guy that made $75,000 a year, like it literally made her cringe. And she was an average looking. She wasn't bad looking, but she was average looking. And it's like, one of the points there was there are lots of people that are average that are like, I know I must have somebody that makes $500,000 a year or more, and it's like, fuck out of here. Like I'm realistic with myself. Like I don't think I'm ugly, but I'm average. Like again, I'm not Joaquin Phoenix. I'm not Brad Pitt. I don't have Bill Gates' money. Like truly, I'm not Einstein. That's the thing. And there's this insult that comes along with average. It's like, why is that insulting? Like, for instance, if I said that I would go out with somebody that on looks was a 5 out of 10, like, why is that insulting? When did being average become disgusting? When did average become gross? What's wrong with that? I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to go out. I would not want to marry or go out with somebody that does not take care of themselves. I don't spend an hour and a half in the gym 7 days a week and, watch what I eat and try to present myself well so that I can be with somebody that puts no effort into their appearance, no effort into their body, no effort into their hygiene. I don't want that. But that's also not what we mean when we say average. When I say average, I don't mean somebody that's my height and 300 pounds. I mean somebody that is average. I don't know. I don't think average is an insult. How do I get over the immediate laziness hurdle of starting exercise routine? That requires self-determination. Honestly, for me, what worked best is like once you get to a point where you hate what's in the mirror enough, and that goes back to my hate video, it became very easy. The 3 catalysts for me to get started exercising was A, getting my ass kicked when I was in high school. And it's like, you know what? I'm tired of being 5'6", 103 pounds. Maybe I'd be picked on less if I wasn't 5'6", 103 pounds anymore. That was a big one. The next one was, admittedly the next one was I just kind of enjoyed it while I was working out with friends. And then what got me into the next stage, admittedly, I'm kind of ashamed to admit this. There was a woman that I had a crush on for about 12 years, and it was one of those unrequited things where it was like, back and forth, but we never really made anything of it. I had an opportunity to make something of it, and before I figured out that she was not somebody that I should ever even remotely consider bearing children with, because that would be cruel to my future children. That's another story altogether. Not fit for marriage at all. I lost about 33 pounds because I was incentivized and motivated by a woman that I had a crush on to look better for. Now that woman's no longer in my life, but it's like I'm still keeping the pumped up routine that I have, because honestly I like looking in the mirror and thinking I'm decent looking. I like looking in the mirror and actually being in shape. I appreciate that. Like, the feeling of, oh, I'm 33 pounds less and I can squat and bench and deadlift more than I could before. I like it, But that's the thing, like liking it wasn't enough to go that far with it. And there needed to be a little bit of external motivation. Yeah, I'll be honest, there was external motivation. There was some external motivation there. Shakira is naturally beautiful. It took J-Lo 15 hours of makeup for the Super Bowl. Shakira probably took 2 hours tops. I'm not sure because I don't know what they look like natural versus made up, and I haven't seen them in person. If I ran into you at a bar, I would just offer to buy you a drink and wish you a good night and not get crazy when meeting the most famous people. Thank you. Money and dating, this video is not for me. No personal questions. Want to say thanks for tinkering and being the right to repair godfather. I don't know if I'm the godfather of right to repair. What's your best pickup line? I don't have any pickup lines, honestly. It's weird, but the best flirting that I've ever done was when dealing with a customer with a broken laptop. It's very weird, but like it's like a different personality that I use for that than the personality I use for my regular life. The personality that I use in store has gotten me way more luck with women than my normal personality, which is weird because that's a fake personality. That's a customer service personality. I think it's like I have to mask the fact that I have an Asperger's way of interfacing with the world, and I do so by having this superficially charming personality. So I have a superficially charming fake me that is used for customer service, and that personality actually winds up getting me a lot of positive attention from women, and it's like more than I'm going to talk about on this channel. But the moment I turn it off and I'm me, it just all goes down the drain at that point. I'm dreaming of a new soldering station. That is cool. I had a work partner and she's half my age. Have you ever considered doing repairs on computers other than MacBooks? Sometimes. It's just hard to have, like, the thing is, there's no easy way to get access to everything that you need to do this job. So like for MacBooks, I have a supply chain that I have cultivated from 5 different vendors, and at any given time, those 5 vendors may or may not have what it is that I need. And so like I have a bunch of different vendors. I have all the stuff that I have to have in stock at any given time so that I can offer customers a couple of day turnaround time for all the stuff that I do. It's really difficult to do that with companies that release 30 models of different things per year, where I may only see it once. Serious question: if New York City basically bankrupt authority to do taxes, do you just do right to repair full time? Well, more than you do now. I mean, right to repair is not something that pays me. That's the thing. So, like, you know, one thing. This fucking mic clip, I swear to Christ. Anyway, so the reason that I have the time to be able to travel, and the reason that I have the time to like manage and interface with politicians and all that stuff, is because I have a business that makes me money that allows me to do that. The ability to be an advocate for right to repair, like that's a luxury. That's not something that I could have done in 2011 when I was the only one doing all the work myself. That's not something that most repairs. That's something I have to explain to politicians. It's like, you know, the people that want that agree with this bill, they're not paid $120,000 a year or $300,000 a year to be here, like Charlie Brown and Christina Fisher at TechNet and all these other people. They're not paid a salary to be here and oppose this. They need to be at their shop all day to deal with their customers. So like that's a luxury. So firstly, you can't bankrupt this type of audit. So it would go to me personally, and then I'd have to be forced to pay it out of money that, again, I don't have, because they're literally asking for triple what is there. But I would, right to repair is not something that pays. I would actually have to go out and get a job. And I'd probably spend a lot less time on the right to repair shit because I would have a job. Again, if I get a job and I'm working 10 to 15 hours a day, I don't have time for this shit. But if that were to happen, there's people that I know that I would make the executive director. I would disband myself as the executive director of both of my nonprofits. I know somebody that I would make the executive director of both of those nonprofits, and that I would trust to spend the money properly. Somebody that I would trust to hire the proper lobbyists, that I would trust to push the right things in the right states, and trust to do the right educational initiatives and all that. So there are people that I've been vetting over the past year and a half to do that work, because if that audit were to not go well and I were to have to, get a normal job to be able to make up back debt for all this other crap, then I would want the work that's happening right now to continue, even if I'm not the one that's able to do it. But yeah, like that stuff. One of the things I said is that I don't pay myself from either of those nonprofits, and I mean that. I haven't paid myself a salary from any of them, like zero, because there's so much cynicism when it comes to nonprofits. There's a fuck ton of cynicism, and because many nonprofits just it's like 90% administration fees, 10% of the money goes to what they actually said they were going to use it for, and it's why people hate nonprofits. And so if I were to go back on what I said there, it would be a point of contention for a lot of people, and I think it would be bad for the reputation of the movement as a whole. So there are people that I know that would be absolutely perfect at doing that because they're already doing that work. So they're already getting paid a salary from another organization. They're already doing good work. So I already have people that I've been vetting for a while. Like if I were to get shot in the head or something, there should be somebody there that's easily able to take my place and do all the stuff that I'm doing. But yeah, I wouldn't be doing right to repair as a job, because right to repair is not a job. Right to repair is an idea. An idea is not a job. It's a philosophy. It's an idea. It's a movement. But that's not a, no. Not everyone is aware that questions are asked every stream, but I see where you guys are coming from. I answer all the questions that are in the free chat, besides the ones that are annoying and get asked 10 to 30 times a day. Those ones I hide behind a super chat paywall, and I set the price like an evil capitalist. How expensive is the mic you really want? Well, usually these microphones are approximately like $600 or $800. So what I do is I wait for them to become available on eBay with broken plugs, and sometimes you can get it on eBay with a broken plug for really cheap. So this mic is $765. So what I usually do, I've never paid that much for this in my fucking life. Fuck that. But don't get me wrong, DPA makes good shit. This is worth it. I'm just too cheap. So what I do is I wait for somebody to put this on here with a broken wire, or like the headband has a crack in it or something, and I buy it for $50 or $100. I solder on my own Neutrik plug like this, and then once I've soldered on my own plug, then I use it and I'm happy with it at its affordable price. It's just, there were no 4065, so I got a 4066, which uses the same capsule. It is the same capsule, but the headband is way, in my opinion, way shittier. I hate the form factor of this headband. See, sometimes you can get them cheaper. Like instead of 700, it's 295, but this doesn't even say that it's broken. Like, I wait for somebody to post this broken. Like once they post it broken, then I'll buy it at dirt cheap, and I'll put my own connector on it. So I have bookmarks folders that's for certain items that I want. And it searches Craigslist, eBay, Audiogon for certain items. So like once every morning and once every night, I'll just look and see if on a bunch of different marketplaces, certain things I want are available. Like a mint condition set of TLCS 3.7s. That used to be on my dream list. That used to be on my dream list a long time ago. Okay, I'm behind in chat by almost 20 minutes, so I'm going to fast forward through some stuff that's nonsensical. Usually it takes me 2 hours to get dressed and ready for a date, but if I'm trying something new, then probably 3. Oh my God. You know, there was a woman that I took out recently to a restaurant, and it was a date at 4 o'clock, and I told her that the date was 3:30. And she shows up at 3:55 and at the meeting place, and she's like, "Oh, you know, we probably have to find someplace else. We're not going to make the reservation. I'm so late." And I go, "No, you're fine. Let's walk in." She's like, "What do you mean we're fine?" And I said, "It's for 4 o'clock." And she goes, "Well, why the fuck did you tell me 3:30?" And I said, "Because you're a woman." And she's getting it. It's funny because what's the word? What's the word for the person who's at the front of the restaurant who greets people as they walk in? Not the person who gives you your table. It's not barista. I'm forgetting the word. But that woman, she's listening to this conversation and she's snickering and she's trying not to laugh. And I look at him like, "What? Did I do something wrong here? We made the reservation." And she's like, "Hey, I'd be happy." Barista, that's it, barista. A hostess. No, it's not barista, it's hostess. Yeah, so it's like she was actually pissed. She's like, "Why did you tell me 3:30 if the reservation was for 4 o'clock? And I think I said, "Because you're a woman." And I mean, seriously, I think Erica is the only woman that's ever showed up on time for a date in my life. What do you think? Am I right? Yes. Erica was the only woman I've ever been out with in like a 16-year dating history that ever showed up on time. And the thing is, she didn't have the right to be pissed. She didn't have the right to be mad because she actually proved my fucking point. Now, if I told her it was at 3:30 and she actually showed up at 3:30 and I made her wait a half hour, then by all means be mad at me. I tell you 3:30, you show up at 3:55 for a 4 o'clock reservation, you don't get to be mad at me. Get the fuck out of here. Now your dream is for the audit to go away. We'll see. We'll see, Sonny. Shower in a can equals dry shampoo. Huh? Have you ever had a situation where you stood up for someone that was being bullied? The last time that I feel like I did that in person was with a waitress at Mazzetto. It's a Mediterranean restaurant on Houston and First Avenue that went out of business. Houston and Allen Street, because once you're on Houston, it's called Allen Street, not First Avenue. A restaurant called Mazzetto. That there was this one douchebag that had a black shirt on, and the bartender was insanely busy. Like, she was really, really busy, and she accidentally spilled a little bit of some clear vodka onto her shirt. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me get you this. Let me get you that." You know, she comped the drinks. She comped the fucking meal. And she's like, the guy goes, "I don't want to be a dick, but like, can I speak to the manager? Because this really ruined my experience." I was so fucking pissed. It's like, okay. And I said, like, "Listen, can you at least say I don't want? Can you at least say that you do want to be a dick? Like, can you at least be honest? Because, this woman's working really hard. She comped your fucking meal. She spilled a clear drink that is high potency alcohol onto a black shirt. It's not going to stain, even if it was going to, even if it was going to stain, it's a black shirt. She made a mistake. She's sorry. She apologized. And you want to get her fired? You're a dick, bro. Like, again, if you want to talk to the manager, that's fine. But why can't you just admit you're a dick?" And then the woman that he was with was like, she had like the O face, like, "Oh shit," and like, "I'm kind of ashamed." But then it kind of turned into, "Wow, I'm kind of ashamed that I'm with this guy." And then they both wound up leaving the restaurant. It was so funny. It was so funny. And then by the time the manager went, she and I were both kind of snickered, and we said, "Never mind." I hate when people pick on the fucking waitress. Like, especially, it's one thing if they're a dumbass waitress and there's no business and they're just like jerking off or checking their phone the whole time. But if you're at a restaurant and you can see that they are absolutely filled to the gills, they are very, very crowded, and you're being an asshole to the waitress, you're just a fucking cunt. I used to enjoy shit like that. I forget. I also, to be, I was considerably drunk at the time that I did that. I hope Troy manned up and asked that girl out. I hope so too, Alon. I hope so too. Confidence is code for be attractive. No, it's not code for be attractive. Being attractive does help when you ask people out, but being confident is also something that is needed. If you walk up to somebody and you're like, I don't know what I don't know what you're going to be doing on Friday, but I was just thinking maybe you can come. It's weird, man. Like, you can't go up to people talking like that. Confidence is confidence. Being attractive definitely does help. It definitely does help. The difference between and then her turning around and walking away, or her actually saying yes, oftentimes may be down to whether you look like shit. And some of that you can control, some of that you can't control. Have you ever felt like you let the right one go? If so, how do you deal with it? No. I have not felt that. I used to be socially awkward when I was younger, but once I blossomed in my 20s and guys started noticing me, I gained confidence in myself. That's a good thing. Tips for how incels can become more confident. I think it really comes down to starting with basic building blocks, and I explained this yesterday. Don't make it, I have to ask somebody out on a date and then have a relationship and have sex. Don't start with that. Start with okay, I'm gonna nod today. I don't know. I'm gonna nod at the female that delivers the mail. So when I get my mail today, I'm gonna go and wave. That's it. Instead of just and take the mail. Copaz noise. And that's it. Then next time, maybe instead of just say hi, how are you? Or just say hi. Then the next time, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm good. And that's it. Why is it that you, as an incel, why do you have to set the goal for the interaction when you have no fucking experience socializing at, I need to be able to ask her out and have a quality date and have sex and have a relationship and start low. Bro, I didn't start motherboard repair doing micro BGA rework and running jumper wires. I started by, okay, I'm going to take a giant 8-legged chip. I'm going to take a BIOS chip off the board and solder it back on with legs and giant pads in the board. Let's see if I can do that and it still works. Okay, it still works. Bam. I'm going to take off a backlight fuse and put it back on. A nice big 0603 backlight fuse. Okay, it still works. I'm going to take off a 0402 component and put it back on. Okay, now I'm going to try taking off a QFN and putting it back on. You have to work your way up to shit. And that's the thing. With anything in life, start out with a really small goal, something that's really manageable. Congratulate yourself once you accomplish it, and then go on to the next. Don't start with a giant goal. You're going to fucking fail. If I started doing this by saying, okay, I'm going to figure out a board with intense liquid damage that another store worked on, and I'm going to fix it because I saw Louis do it on stream, or somebody like Louis, then you're not going to get anywhere. You need to start with a small goal, something manageable, something that you're actually qualified and capable to do. And then you work from there. You get a little kick of dopamine, move it up, 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 next level, next level. I don't think about doing Dan's clickbait repair video ideas because people just fundamentally don't care about repair on this channel anymore. And B, I honestly don't want to do videos like that. I don't think I get enjoyment out of it. And if I don't get enjoyment out of it and I wouldn't make money at it, I just don't want to do it. I think what is attractive the most about Louis is intelligence. Second, he keeps himself in shape. I don't know. Am I that smart? I would say I'm of average intelligence. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with being average. But thank you, Alana. That's very kind of you. I would marry someone average because they would most likely treat me better in the long run than somebody who's a 9 or a 10. Tickle says, bro, you're a famous YouTuber. Why are you settling for average? You can get 90% of women. Being a famous YouTuber doesn't really matter when it comes to meeting women when your fan base has 99.99999999999% autistic men. Let's be real. No offense. I've met you guys in person. I've met enough of you in person to understand the sample size. Asperger's, tech nerd, men. Justin Bieber could potentially date could find a date from his YouTube fan base. Not us. No. Yeah, no. No offense. I've met you, Pete. No. Oh man. Don't be nervous of what Brandon Haynes says. Nobody should be nervous of Brandon Haynes. Okay, I'm behind on chat by a lot. I'm at 9:46 p.m. and it is 10:04. Let's scroll. We scroll. I started losing weight when I looked at myself in the mirror after realizing I'm not functioning to the best of my ability. Getting tired from daily tasks is unacceptable. True. Moved on from women now. I just love myself. I don't know. That sounds weird. That sounds like hope. I don't like that. I don't like that idea. When people say you need to learn how to be okay being by yourself, do you say that with anything else? If somebody's hungry, do you say you have to learn to be okay with starving? If somebody hasn't drank water in a while, you have to be okay with being dehydrated? If somebody doesn't have a job, you have to be, just learn. It's okay. I'm just learning how to be okay with sleeping on the sidewalk. Like, nobody says that. You need food, you need shelter, you need water, you need socialization. Everybody needs socialization, and everybody would at some point, to not be alone when they're going to sleep every night. It's just weird. It's this weird form of cope that people do, which is, instead of try to improve their social skills, instead of actually try to go out there and do something that may be difficult to improve themselves in a way, shape, or form that would allow them to perform better when asking people out, or to just do some, get out of their comfort zone so that they can actually meet people. It's like, I'm going to learn to be okay being by myself. Why? You wouldn't learn to be okay with starving. You wouldn't learn to be okay with living on the street. Why would you learn to be okay with that? We don't tell people that. If you make $10,000 a year, we tell you get a fucking skill so you can make more money, not learn to be okay with making $10,000 a year. We encourage people to improve in every area of their life, because for some reason when it comes to socialization, we have this weird obsession with learn to be okay with being by yourself, because that's what makes you strong and independent. And I don't know. It's lame. I think it's lame personally. And I think it's something people say as a coping mechanism for not changing, not getting out of their comfort zone. And it fucks people up. Sharpen your social skills a little bit. Go away, mosquito. I'm 6 foot in heels, basically an Amazon. I've gone out with people that are about 6 foot tall before. I'm never going to forget this one date where this one woman was picking on me because I was short. I'm 5'6", and 5'6" with shoes on. And she's like she's like, you're below me. I'm like, what are you talking about? No, I don't mean status-wise or whatever. But I'm just saying physically you're below me. Like, no, you're not. Like, what do you mean? Like, yes, I am. Like, no, you're not. And as I said, no, you're not, I just picked her up off her feet like this really quickly in the middle of a crowd. And she was pretty muscular too. So she wasn't light. She wasn't fat, but she was thick, but also muscular because she trained every day and she lifted weights. This woman could probably out deadlift me. And she was probably 170, 180 pounds, but not fat. It was just it was all fucking thighs and ass from monster deadlifts. I'm not kidding when I say this woman probably out deadlifted me. And she has this big smile on her face, and somebody who was next to us who was overhearing the conversation was kind of smirking and laughing. I've never been bothered by women who are taller than me. And if they bring it up, I'll find some way to sneak it in. I'll find some way to pick on them back. Because that's what matters. Again, and I think this goes back to flirting and socialization and something you don't learn in school. It's that was just a little flirt right there. That was just a little I'm just going to keep you a little bit off balance. There's actually a book on this about, keeping people off balance. Let me see. See this, when somebody said, how would you teach flirting in school? Get people to read this shit. Okay, you get people to read Catcher in the fucking Rye. I don't give a fuck about Catcher in the Rye. Fuck Catcher in the Rye. Get people to read this shit. Just the fact that we have a term called incel, just the fact that the term incel exists and that mainstream people in modern society knows what it means, get people to read this shit in high school. Why can't we? It's just basic shit like that would be so helpful. Again, just the idea of keep the person just a little bit off balance, a little bit uncomfortable. Not nervous uncomfortable, not creepy uncomfortable, but joke back and forth. Okay, she's ribbing you about something. Don't go, oh, I guess I'm short. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm gonna go home and be alone for my life now. Nah, fuck that. Rib her back. And it worked. It was a good date. The rest of the dates I had with her were horrible because she had no character, no content of personality, and no intelligence. But that date was fun. Apple's right to repair plan is a fucking joke. True. True it is. You're lucky she didn't slap you when you picked her up. Come on. She was asking for it at that point. That's the thing. It's when I say asking, I don't mean she was asking for this. She was asking me to playfully rib her back. She was she was ribbing me. So what are you supposed to do? You rib back in a playful fashion. This whole back and forth shit. That's something that it should be taught. It should be taught. I didn't know how to do that shit until I was 23. And the thing is, there are men that don't know how to do that shit at my age. There are men that are 33 years old that have no idea how to do those things in a charming way. There are men that make it to 40 that have no fucking idea how to talk to a woman. None whatsoever. I don't mean mild social awkwardness, but they're 40 years old, and if a woman said hi to them, they would just go and go the other way. And that's fucked up. I feel bad for them. I feel bad that they're put in that place, but it's like, would it kill us as a society to just have, to just I'm just throwing out there, like, have that book be something that gets read in high school? Are people coming here for relationship advice? I don't, apparently. I think I'm getting trolled into this. I think I'm getting trolled into this. Board repair, real estate, activism, dating. I don't know. I'll ride the ship into the ground, baby. I'll ride this channel into the ground. Rex Banner says, girls are the worst. You guys will destroy lives and hold grudges, but guys will just scrap it out and leave it at that. I think that's a horrible generalization. It's one thing if you have been hurt, but to make a very large generalization like that, I don't know. No. I think that there's time for therapy, Rex. It's fine to have been hurt. Everybody has been hurt at some point in time, but don't, like, rather than have that destroy your life and for that to be in your head, like, that's what therapy's for. A little bit of therapy goes a long way. Is your store still proprietorship? Is that why you're on the hook for taxes? No, because sales tax pierces the corporate veil. It is a C corporation. No, there's a bunch of shit that you could be liable for. That pierces the corporate veil. So I would get a job at that point, and at that point, I would get a job, and I would get a payment plan that I'd probably be on for the next 10 or 20 years. Lewis told us the other day doesn't like pizza because it's all bread. True. Not a big fan of high carb stuff like that. How do you initially go about finding a wholesaler for your business? Recently, I've opened mine. The wholesalers suck. Is it normal to have multiple if allowed? Well, what I do is I wire money to a bunch of random people that I met on Skype, and then the one that doesn't screw me is the one that gets my business into the future, which is why it was so scary when I first started out and I had no money. I was buying parts one at a time from eBay or ScreenCountry.com or something because I couldn't afford to get fucked. The thing is, finding a wholesaler, you have to be able to afford to get fucked, and that's very scary. She was mad because you were right. You should know. Yes. True, Brad. Yes, that was... I knew she was going to be late. And she was. The dude sounds privileged. Who is the dude? Isn't it rude when a date checks their phone often? But who is the dude? I'm curious. That's a pronoun. I don't know. Is it rude when a date checks their phone often? Yes and no. So I probably shouldn't even say no. Yes, it is rude, and that's something that I personally don't want to tolerate or put up with. But one of the things that you have to understand, just to be sympathetic, again, I've had this happen before. When I have this happen, I've had the same answer every time. Like, if it happens consistently over several dates and for the entire hour that we're there, if I know that this is not work related or that you have a normal basic job. I'll be a little bit of an asshole and say, I have 12 employees, I have 2 nonprofits, 2 for-profit businesses, a media company, a YouTube channel with 1.7 million subscribers, lobbying going on in 6 or 7 states, and an ongoing audit of one of those businesses. And I'm here with you. My phone is on silent, and I'm focused on you. So if you want to, bye. Like, I'm out of here. Seriously, I didn't come here to watch you look at your fucking phone. But I am empathetic and sympathetic to this because you have to understand that these devices, everything about a lot of the software and the social media shit that we do, it's designed to suck you in. So I remember back in 2014 or 2015, Eli the computer guy was covering a social experiment that Facebook did. The social experiment, thank you, VG Moose, that's very kind of you. The social experiment that was being done is if your feed is filled up with really sad stuff, will you actually become sadder and post sad things as a result? Versus if your feed is really happy and filled with happy stuff, will you become happy as a result? And what they found out is that people were getting sadder if the stuff that was in their feed was mostly more curated for the sad post to appear at the top. There are a lot of things that these companies will do to make sure that your attention is always on the app, that you're constantly hooked to the little dopamine hit that you get when you get a like, when you scroll through, when you see something when you see your worldview reinforced by some algorithm showing you shit that reinforces your worldview based on the views that they think you have, based on the content that you look at, based on the profile they make on you. These devices and these platforms are designed to suck you in. So you are dealing with companies that are worth hundreds of billions of dollars, that probably have teams of people working around the clock to figure out how to keep your attention. And you're supposed to be competing with that as an average dude on a Tinder date with somebody that you just met. Good luck with that. Like, seriously, good luck with that. So again, I do have a great level of sympathy and empathy for the fact that people just can't put this shit down. Again, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to leave if I'm on a date with somebody and they're just staring at their phone the entire time. But I do understand that it's like that how we got here. And I do have a little bit of sympathy and a little bit of empathy for the fact that there's a lot going on these devices to make sure that you stay hooked on them, because you staying hooked on them is what, again, drives engagement up. Driving engagement up means, oh, look, we have more that we can talk to our investors about how people are staying on the platform. We can tell our advertisers, look, look at all the engagement here. There's going to be more money for your business if you advertise on our platform. More people are going to buy your stuff. There'll be more conversions. I get it. You know, like I do feel bad. I mean, does it mean I'm going to tolerate it or put up with it? No. And if once I'm at a point, personally, I would rather be alone by myself than be alone with a date. At least when I'm alone by myself, I don't have any illusions of the fact that there's a potential for company. I'd rather be alone by myself than be alone on a date. But when I am alone on a date, I understand that I'm not just competing with a phone, I'm competing with hundreds of billions of dollars that have concentrated together to try to figure out how to get that woman's attention, or that man's attention if you're a woman on a date, to stare at the feed on the phone. That's a difficult thing to compete with. I am 16 minutes behind in chat. I can understand if someone checks the phone now and then for reasons. That's fine. If they're on Imager or Redditing or getting a dozen messages per minute, yeah. Thank you, Carl. That's kind of you. That is too kind of you. If a chick checks her phone on a date, I leave. It's supposed to be the intro of the relationship. It's a bad precedent, kind of like a job interview. You don't check your phone. Yeah, again, like I just... Listen, if I'm... And that's the thing. That's the other thing you have to... the other thing you have to consider here is it... wait, what? Did I hit the wrong... The other thing that you have to consider with this is it is kind of a challenge to be a little bit more interesting. I think you do have to be just a bit more interesting on the date now than you did 50 or 70 years ago, because again, you are competing with a device that has the ability to get information about any topic from all over the world, specifically curated to your interests based on what artificial intelligence thinks your interests are, recommended right into your feed. You gotta be, it's a challenge. You're gonna have to be a little bit more interesting. But like, even if the person's not being, maybe the person's not being rude, maybe I'm simply not interesting. But if I'm not interesting to you, then again, it does beg the question of what am I doing with you? Seriously, like, what am I doing with you? Maybe we shouldn't be here trying to make something work, try to build a relationship, build a life, or anything else if I can't hold your interest for more than 5 minutes. Sometimes the home plays, sometimes I do. If at first you don't succeed, use more flux. We're going to pin that message. That's the dating advice. That's some real dating advice right there. Drinking can interfere with your judgment during dating. You make trade-offs or wake up with a tattoo. I do know somebody who gave a loan to my initial business that had the name of his ex-wife tattooed on his leg, and he never got it removed. So he said, now I have to find another woman that's named redacted. I'm not going to say the name on stream, but it's like, now I have to find another woman named that, either that or I have to get that tattoo removed, which is painful. So he said it's most likely less painful for me to just limit myself to finding another woman with the same name. Brandon Haynes is picking on Alana. I approve. Damn it. All the chat from 10:05 All the chat from 10:05 to 10:12 disappeared. That's lame. Boo. Louis, this is one night I need one of your lives. Thank you. What happened, Ed? What's going on? What happened? Is your writing going well? I'm happy you decided to stream today, Louis. I was having a rough day. What happened to you, Alana? What happened? What's going on? Let's go over it. And Alana, what's going on? Why are people whose names start with A having a bad time today? I got to see Adina Menzel tonight on a friend's stream. I am jealous. I have a thing for almost anybody who's ever played Alphaba and Wicked. I was playing her music while I was coming back from Florida for about 1 or 2 hours. I Stand, Gorgeous, and something else. I forget the other song. I liked some of her solo career. If you had one message to be dispersed to the public, what would it be, and please? I don't have any messages at this time. I'm sorry. Whatever I've posted to my YouTube channel already. Next time your date stares at their phone, go live and have a super chat comment so you can read to her. At least it'll pay for the dinner. That's actually funny. This is a Framework laptop. See? Framework logo. Saturn is in retrograde, Louis. I don't want to bring the mood of the chat down, my problems. Saturn? Okay. I don't get that. What does Saturn have to do with this? How much would you spend on a woman on a first date? Depends on how interested I am in that particular woman, to be honest with you. I've always been the one that spends in the dates. I've never been a 50-50 kind of person. Even if I'm not dating, like even if the person I'm going, like even if I'm just going out with one friend or 2 or 3 friends and they're men, I usually like, I don't know, I'm not, we've always been I was raised in a culture of fight to pay the check kind of people. Would you recommend Apple Care Plus? Let's see, I think I actually have an article on my website about this. Do I have a web? I don't know if this article is still valid. I tried to compare this. Let's see. Oh my God, this looks so bad. This scale, my website is shit. Holy fuck, this looks bad. Why does anybody even use this business? My God, you can't even read any of this text. Okay. Well, okay, you know, this is going to be punishing. This is going to be a serious punishment asking you to read through this fucking horrible website that I have that I'm not bothering to fix because fuck that. But yeah, I just posted something in a link in the chat there. I wrote an article on this a long time ago. It depends. TLDR, it depends on what you break. My dad asked for a raise and he got it. Is that just good fortune? I don't know if it's good fortune. Maybe he was valuable to his company. Maybe he did, he did really good work, and he's also in a position of bargaining strength because nobody else knows how to do his particular job. I have no idea. Don't know the circumstances. It just means because of the retrograde, things are very tense and emotional right now for everyone, particularly A names. Okay, I fully support Brad making fun of Alana for following astrology. Brad, please unleash holy hell on her. Oh, God. Oh, damn, she came out and called you Bradley. Damn. That's even worse than Brandon. Astronomy is real, astrology is a lie. I agree with Brad. Looks like your site is a responsive issue. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, if I control if I control minus it a bunch, but nobody's going to do that when they view a website. They're just going to click off. Either way, this was just a page just for the Google shit, for the algorithm shit. So like, there are certain things where, where Google will ask questions. Watch, like when you Google certain things, people also ask. So that was a page for the people also ask shit. I used to actually go through every single people also ask for specific Google questions, and I answered it. I haven't made the time to do that in a long time. I probably should be doing that, but I haven't made the time to do that in a long time. Just because it's really annoying to write stupid, useless articles like that. And I tried to write articles that were not just SEO spam, but like honest to God answer people's questions. So, I tried to go over, okay, here's what it would cost here, here's what it would cost at Apple, here's the difference between them. Like, I tried to make a page that, honest to God, answered the fucking question and wasn't just an ad. Excuse me. For the yawn. I don't watch Star Wars, Kinto. I can verify Louis has paid for every meal we ate together for the past 10 years until a recently unfortunate event that ended the streak. Yeah. It's not even really a dating thing. Like it's been a lifestyle thing for me. I try to avoid being around the type of people that have that mentality of like, I'm going to try to be in the bathroom when the check comes, or I don't know. I'm going to hope that if I just mingle around and I mention my life problems enough that maybe Louis will like just eventually shower me with money at a dinner. Like I am a generous person with the people that are in my circle, so I try to be very selective with who is in that circle. Very selective. And Sonny did buy me dinner once recently. However, I have a $3,000 product of his that's sitting in my trunk that he paid for, so I don't know. I think I'm winning there. I think I'm winning. Sonny tried to save a few $100 and he lost $3K. See how that works? Should you have to ask for a raise, or should you get some recognition from your employer? I mean, I think it's both. I was much more generous with raises before I moved to a place that was $8,000 a month more. But what I would do is, people are going to be pissed at this. What I would do is I would walk people into my office and I'd say, if I were a good business owner, I would be giving you a raise. I don't want you to think that your current salary is reflective of your work. I don't want you to think your salary is reflective of the effort that you put in, of your intelligence, or of your ability to solve problems. Your salary is reflective of your employer being a moron that made a shitty business decision, and fortunately, because life is not fair, you are also paying for it in addition to me. And I just want you to know that. And if you do want to go and get another job, I will give you a good reference, and I am grateful for the fact that you're here. Again, that's not money. Like, again, to be clear, like I don't want a fucking conversation with my employer. I want some goddamn money. But I figure if I can't give you the additional money, at the very least I should give you appreciation. It's a shitty consolation prize. Like, again, I want the money if I was the employee. But I try to think about what it was like at my first job when I didn't get recognition or money, and the shit that I wound up doing after not getting recognition or money, and I don't want my people doing that to me. But I used to be way more forward in offering people bonuses or raises based on their performance, until I moved to a place that cost $8,000 a month more, renovated it, and had business go downhill right afterwards. But yeah, I do think that, like, if you're not getting money, at the very least, you should be getting recognition. Again, to be clear, recognition is not money. Money is always preferable. But you should be getting at least one of the above. If you're not getting any of the above, that does kind of suck. Your Scorpio side is coming out a lot tonight. Alana has learned that she can trigger me by mentioning astrology. And she's clearly digging into that. Don't you call me a Scorpio. There's no such thing. Gemini, Scorpio, I've had so many women tell me that you're a stereotypical Scorpio. And it's like, no, it's made up. People's personalities are not based on the month of their birth. Rawr! Oh, it's so triggering. Dom says, please stop it. You're making my head triggered. Mine too. Mine too. I don't know what that means when a woman calls you a typical Scorpio. Is that a compliment? Is that an insult? I don't even know how you're supposed to take it. When I was working, got money and appreciation. Ever those I supervised, I thought I was a good boss and respected me. Your Virgos are driving my Cancer energy wild. You cut that shit out. Louis, do you consider yourself a handsome man? I consider myself an average man. Not ugly, not handsome, average. Appreciation is more what people need more than money sometimes. Yeah, I'll take the money, man. I'll take the money. I can appreciate myself, thank you very much. I'll give myself some self-appreciation, you know? Astrology, I'm year of the dog. Are you hair of the dog? Is that Mr. Lumberton here? Excuse me. How heated do you get with the check? Huh?
Oh, sweet mercy.
98.6 degrees. Daniel McGee can't spell my name. You get a timeout. That gets you a punishment. A punishment. Also, you get triggered whenever I bring up Eos. Come on. You gotta stop that. That's not nice. That's not nice. Not nice. When I was working, I got money and appreciation. No, I think I read that one already. Part of my stress is I'm behind on my work count. Speaking of behind things, did you email Rakita? No, I didn't. We're both behind then. Some of these so-called employees only want a paycheck. You have to realize that whatever your hourly wage is, you need to generate 3 times the hourly wage for the business and your boss to be profitable. 4 to 5 times if you're in New York City. 10 times if you get audited. So, true. Excuse me. I take less money if it means getting treated with respect. It will take a lot of money for me to take disrespect. I don't think you have to have a choice, though. I think you could have both. Why not go for both? I mean, it's possible to have both. I would shoot for both. Will you take a date to the Bahamas? No. I think the most I've ever spent on a first date was like $250. Maybe, I think $250. Yeah, but I think traveling to the Bahamas, that sounds like it would cost thousands of dollars. I'm not taking a date to the, I would take a girlfriend, maybe a wife. I would take a wife to the Bahamas. Maybe a girlfriend. But not a date. I'm not spending thousands of dollars on a date. Yeah, I would take my wife to the Bahamas. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So I have to use, it doesn't look, the like ratio on this video is fairly low. Sorry, I have an algorithm that I have to deal with now. So until there are more likes in the video, we are going to have a picture of Tim Cook on the screen. I see over 400 people here. Some of you can hit the like button. I'll be back momentarily. I'm going to refill my water and be right back. Enjoy Angry Tim Cook. This is Angry Tim Cook. Nope, not enough. Sorry. You get some more Tim Cook. No, the Tim Cook will continue until the likes improve. No, some more. A little bit more Tim Cook. Let's take a look. What do we have here? Got my water refilled. All right. And we're back. Okay, not bad. Not bad, not bad. How do you avoid self-deception? I remember you saying one thing about journaling and being relentlessly honest with yourself. I mean, it's hard to lie to a journal. The thing is with a journal is that since I'm not showing it to anybody else, I know that I'm never going to show it to anybody else. I don't have to worry about how I come off. Since I don't have to worry about how I come off, I have the freedom to be honest. What is your max number of pull-ups? The one that I did on camera, I forget if it was 22 or 23, but that was my max number of pull-ups. I do weighted ones now when I can. I do weighted pull-ups now because normal pull-ups is cardio. Like, same thing with dips. Like, I can't do dips as a chest exercise, and I can't do pull-ups as a back exercise because it's cardio. Like, I can, by the time I get to 22 pull-ups, it's not even that my muscles are exhausted, it's that my cardiovascular system is exhausted. That stoic sociopath. Indeed. He looks so grumpy in that picture. True. He does look mad. That's probably his face when he saw the right to repair bill passed in New York State. I can imagine that being the look of seeing the right to repair bill pass in New York State. Don't screen burn a picture of Tim Cook on my phone. Oh, don't tempt me. I'll do it again. Changed my like to a dislike just because I was blackmailed. Typical Australian. You should play polka music while playing Tim Cook to increase likes. I'm gonna have to find some I would have to find polka music that is not copyrighted. I have to find some royalty-free polka music. I think I could do that. I think I'm gonna go for it. Scroll. We need another empty chair. No heart attacks, Louis. Don't overdo workouts. I haven't had any workouts. Any heart attacks, Jessica, whatever. No plan on it. I appreciate the wish for good health. Tim Cook hasn't come out with anything super revolutionary or drastically different since Jobs' passing. Yeah, it's kind of just iterations on how to make more money out of something that of existing stuff. When you did your last repair, I think a week ago on stream, just nobody watched it. Bill, whatever. I scroll. Let me unpin this Flux comment. It's blocking another one. Astrology signs. Do you think all people born in May that you know? Think of all people born in May that you know. Do they all behave, think, or act the same way? GTFOH. I agree with Dorilla there. What if a woman offered to pay the first date? I'd probably still put my card in there anyway. I think I will. I would still go to put my card in there. Now, if she argued with me and I know that she's, if I'm dating somebody that makes like $400,000 a year, it's like, okay, fine, fuck it, you win. But that's not usually the case, ever. Scroll. Do you think Tim Cook was an adequate successor to Steve Jobs? I had mixed feelings. I mean, I have the same thought on it that a lot of other people do. You know, Steve Jobs was somebody that had some. I wouldn't say that he was an innovator so much as he just had a sense of aesthetic taste. He had a sense of taste when it came to things. Tim Cook, Tim Cook's more of a bean counter. When are we going to get real content on this channel again? I want to see ISLs being replaced. No, you don't. The last time I did a board repair video was last week, and you aren't even in the chat, Paul Daniels. Nobody. No, you don't. Louis, you have too much muscle to be average. I don't think that is the primary thing, the factor that goes into whether or not somebody calculates your appearance as like handsome versus average. I would give myself a solid average. Not ugly, but average. Guys, it worked. He will do that again. True, I will. Hi, Louis. Your channel inspired me to abandon computer repair. And I'm a programmer. Don't stress about computers fucking randomly not posting or goddamn people. If what you got out of this channel is that doing motherboard repair is stressful, aggravating, miserable, and can result in you spending hours of time on work that you don't get paid for, then you did technically take something away from this that is accurate and true, and I don't blame you. And congratulations on becoming a programmer and learning something new that's difficult and becoming successful at it. You do an electro boom style repair video. You mean like make a guitar that with the strings plug into the 120 volts AC and go? That seems painful. Would you ever use a foldable phone? Yeah, if it costs less than the phone that I have now, sure. If it costs $2,000, then no. The first computer I got when I was younger was a 286 when I was 5 or 6 years old from my Uncle Cliff. If the business goes south, you will still have YouTube. Yeah, but I need a job though. I need something to dig my teeth into. I need something that's gonna be. Not only would I need something to engage my brain, but I'd also need and give me a sense of purpose. I'd also need something that actually would make me what am I looking for? A modern day livable wage. Yeah, so if I lost my business, I wouldn't do YouTube full time. I would get a job. Because the thing is, most of my YouTube content is based on business. Like when I do board repairs, that's business. When I talk about customer experiences, business. When I give business advice, it's based on my business. The right to repair stuff is based on how it affects my business. So, the real estate series was based on finding a new space for my business. The aggravation I had when realtors would lie was based on business. So, like most of my YouTube channel really does have the base of the content is having a business. So, like when I don't have a business, then that would really just kind of erase the base of the channel that I use for inspiration for most of the stuff that I do. But also, here on I use YouTube to talk about work. YouTube in and of itself is not the work. It's kind of where I talk about work experiences and stuff that is related to it or on the side of it. So I would get a job doing something else. I don't know what it is, but I'd find something. Here it's perfect timing with a coming recession. There's always something. My dad used to be a stockbroker. He changed and became a chef in his 40s. And then when he wasn't able to be a chef anymore, he pivoted again in his 50s to clerical work because he had almost 7 surgeries on his shoulders and his knees and got his knees replaced and all that shit. So, my dad has changed himself. My dad has kind of done to his career what David Bowie did with his music numerous times over his life. And it is what it is. My dad's gone to making lots of money, to being completely fucking broken in debt, to making lots of money, to being fucking broke in debt, and being a pile of medical injuries and bills, and then back to making. And, it happens to everybody. It happens to a lot of people. And it'll happen to me. It is what it is. I'm 33. Let's see. What happened to Erica? Bill, that's a super chat only question with a price tag of $50. If I answer a question more than 5 to 10 times a day, I put it behind a paywall because I'm an evil asshole capitalist. That is a $50 question. Do you work out every single day? Yes, I do, Genghis Khan. I don't lift weights every day, but I do work out every single day. On the days where I don't lift weights, I still do I do cardio and I add in that highway fit exercise. Which is, technically, I guess calisthenics can be considered lifting weights to some extent because you're lifting yourself. But yeah, I every day. There's no day off. I have a day off from heavy weightlifting. I don't do heavy weights every day. I do a full body weightlifting exercise 4 times a week. But on the 3 days where I'm not lifting weights, I do cardio. Cardio doesn't require a rest period the same way that lifting heavy weights does. You play polka music at the repair shop to increase productivity. I think that would result in everybody leaving. Do you fix your own stuff or have someone else do it? I have somebody else do it, honestly. There's something about working on repair for 12 to 14 hours a day back when I was working that long doing repair that makes it so that when you get home, you really don't want to fucking fix shit. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You don't want to fix shit after working all day on it. How do you feel about Twitter requiring me to use my phone number to verify my account and tweet mean things? I think you shouldn't tweet mean things. Stop that. There's no need to tweet mean things. Be nice to people. A little bit of compassion. A little bit more compassion. I'd arm wrestle you for the bill, says Hannah Anderson. You know, maybe you'd win. I was always bad at arm wrestling. In 7th grade, I'm never going to forget Monique Ferreira beat me at arm wrestling. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. I got beat by a girl. I got beat by a girl. I thought you don't like Tesla. Why buy one? I have a 40-minute video on this, and again, like most videos on my channel, nobody watches them. So let me see if I find it, because this is such a long-winded reasoning to this. And you know what? You actually gave $5, so I'll give you the video. You get a video. You don't just get a small answer. You actually get a video. I wanted something electric, and every other company that makes an electric car said that right to repair encourages and enforces redlining, racism, rape, and burglary. So I didn't have much of a choice there. Not a bunch of great choices. You have a lot of choices that say that you're a rapist, that you're a racist, that you're a redliner. It wasn't really a choice that would make me feel warm and fuzzy. So you get a video. It's in chat. It's humiliating when you get beat by a girl. Yo, it was so embarrassing because it wasn't even like it was... And she the moment it started, my arm just went like this. It was immediate. Oh my God, that was embarrassing. Yeah, this was when I was in 7th grade. So this is back when there were... No, this wasn't a transports thing. I mean like an actual honest to God girl. Not like internet acronym. You know, a girl is can mean a young female, or girl can also mean an acronym. It's not just a word. It means guy in real life. So essentially, you are to assume when you're on AOL Instant Messenger back in the day, or on IRC, that when someone claims they're a girl, usually that's an acronym that means guy in real life. It was a safe assumption that would keep people from doing stupid things on the internet back then. No, I mean this honest to God, teenage female beat me in arm wrestling. That was painful. Okay, it was painful to the ego, but it was also painful in that my arm got smashed on the table. Ouch. 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 Hard for the ego and hard for the arm. What do you think of Linus' new office expansion? I don't know. He seems to be doing well for himself. He's, his business is successful. He's making good money. He's getting more views on YouTube month after month. He's making more money month after month. God bless him. I wish him the best of luck with his business. I do. He puts in the work. He puts in the effort, and he's been rewarded for putting in the work and the effort. His business is doing better. His YouTube channel is doing better. Good on him. Keep going. Keep going, Linus. Keep going. Keep climbing. I am happy for Linus' success. If he's moving into an entirely new building, it means that his business is doing well, and his YouTube channel is doing well, and hopefully his life is doing well. And why would losing the business itself get in the way of making money from the same line of work? Surely you have a big enough name that you could just take the mail line of work when you started and still be successful. No, and surely you think my name is worth more than it actually is. So if I wind up owing hundreds of thousands of dollars, that means that I cannot rent a space and go back to doing my work, because once I pay back that hundreds of thousands of dollars by selling every single thing that I own, then I'm not going to have anything left. So so if you lose a business, how would that get in the way of you making money in the work? It's because I need a fucking store, and I need a table, and I need a soldering iron, and I need a microscope, and I need employees. I don't know. Maybe am I wrong for getting mad at that question? I feel like I shouldn't be mad at. I feel like I'm gonna get shit for being mad at you for that question, but I feel like I should be mad at you for that question. I don't know. It just sounds dumb. It's like, why? What do you mean? How is it that you can't make money from your work anymore? If all of your money that you used to pay all of your people goes away, and all the money you used to buy all your parts goes away, and all the tools that you have go away, and all the things that you've built up over the past 13 years are gone. Why couldn't you still make money, Lou? Bruh. Come on, man. Bruh. I'm gonna do this. Bruh. I'm just gonna type it in the chat. BRUH. 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 What's your current stance on Linux? It is an operating system. It's an operating system. April also doesn't understand how bankruptcy works. Bankruptcy does not resolve sales tax audits. I think it can actually resolve a normal audit, but it doesn't resolve sales tax. Don't quote me on that. But I know 110% it doesn't deal with sales tax. That goes straight beyond the corporate veil to the director, which is me. Yay! You think trans women should be allowed in sports, sir? In a trans league, absolutely, 100%. You want to have like a trans boxing league, a trans racing league? Go for it. Do I want to see somebody that was born biologically male, grew up with all that testosterone, that went through puberty as a dude, boxing with women? Nah. No, I'm not interested in that shit. But yeah, like by all means, make a trans boxing league, a trans basketball league, trans racing league. Like I have no problem with that. I think that's fine. I have no problem with that. Having people that were biologically male up until 10 minutes ago, or up until like half a year ago, then entering women's sports. No. Yeah, I don't follow it very much because I don't watch sports to begin with. I don't watch women's sports. I don't watch men's sports. I don't watch trans sports. I'm not a sports person. But yeah. Azul, I answered your question. If you rewind 30 seconds, you'll find an answer to your question. That is my answer. Excuse me. I explained the store thing a million times, Jay. TLDR, there's a potential that the state is going to ask for 3 times my entire store worth. That's the TLDR, because I just don't want to keep explaining the same shit over and over again. It's just depressing. Thanks, bud. Appreciate the work. Thank you, Smoking. How do you feel about Twitter? Oh, I answered that one already. Excuse me. Sorry for the yawning. I know it is contagious. I want to mess with a LiDAR sensor for a self-driving mower project. That does. As long as I'm not on the same block as you, go for it. Will the iPhone go portless before they go Type-C? EU mandate every mobile device be Type-C. I could see them doing the malicious compliance kind of shit of, okay, fine, fuck it. Wi-Fi only for data and wireless charging. Wireless charging and only that. I could see that. Get in politics, look at AOIC. She does nothing but post selfies on Instagram. Twice a month you go to DC, ruins people's lives, and get paid stock pics from Pelosi. In order to do that, you have to speak to a particular group of people, and you have to reinforce a narrative. And I'm not very good at that. I'm good at it to a certain extent, but I'm not good to the point. I would have to reinforce somebody's worldview like 100% of the time and pander. There's a lot of pandering that has to be done there and reinforcing specific worldviews rather than trying to look at something with nuance and actually fix an issue. And I don't want to do that. I would fail as a politician because I wouldn't be able to do that. I think if I really wanted to become a performative actor, I could. But I think with modern politics, in order to be that successful, I would have to become a serious ideologue. And I don't want to become an ideologue. I think a lot of people are leaning towards that, and I don't want to do that. Not for me. Not for me. Not for me. Not for me. Okay, where am I? How far behind am I in here? Damn, he has 14.6 million subs. That's insane. Linus worked his ass off for all of them. Now, Linus worked his ass off for all those subscribers, and I'm happy that he got there, and I'm happy that his business is doing well, and I'm happy that he's growing his warehouse. You should make your compt an LTC, is how others protect themselves. Okay, firstly, it's not a compt, it's a company. I'm not going to take advice from people that can't spell company. And secondly, no, nothing protects yourself from certain things. There are certain things that pierce the corporate veil. There are many things that pierce the corporate veil, and many people that have never run a business in their lives don't get this. Like there's a number of things that pierce the corporate veil and go straight through to the people who are the shareholders of the business. And this is one of them. So such is life. Such is life. Do you guys really think after being in business for like over 12 years and having a professional CPA that I don't think of this stuff? Like, really? You think I just have a personal bank account that just does everything? I don't get it. Like, how stupid do people think I am? Just make more money, duh. I mean, that is what I do. That is something I am going to have to figure out how to do. I'm open to it, though. Some people took the no stupid question shit we were told as a kids as a challenge. True. I answered that question already as well. Let's see. Just because you can't beat the race doesn't mean you can't build the track. Building the track doesn't get as many eyes. Why does that matter? I don't understand. That seems a little bit too... that's a little too abstract for me to understand its relation to this current conversation. Excuse me. I'm behind by 2 minutes. So we're catching up. I'm not doing that Bill Fusion Enterprise. Everybody will think. If that's not something that I can do at this point as the face of an issue. Like, that's not the attention that I'd want. Would you date a trans woman, Louis Rossmann? No. I want to date somebody that was born female. I have really basic standards. Like, be a female, don't have children from another guy, be kind, be cooperative, and be like at least a 4 or a 5 out of 10 on the scale of looks. Like, that's my list. I really think that's reasonable. I think that's reasonable. Like, I would want to date somebody that was born a female. I'd want to marry somebody that's born a female because I want kids. And I don't want to date somebody that has somebody else's kids. Don't want to date somebody that was a dude 6 months ago. Like, pretty basic stuff. I think it's basic. I don't know. I don't think my standards are crazy. I think my standards are fairly reasonable. 1.7 million subscribers, only 350 here. That's a fake number. Most of that is bots. There's more bots on my subscriber list than Elon claims there are on Twitter. Are you interested in the James Webb Space Telescope? I'll be honest, I'm not. I probably should be. If I were a more cultured man, I would be, but I am not. Let's see. Run on an all-cat platform. Cats for everyone. Funding for genetic development of cat. What? Why not have Lightning and USB-C? Lightning sucks. Lightning was a decent port back in the day when... Micro USB is sociopathic shit. So think about it. You have a port that only works one way. And if you put it in the wrong... Okay, A, the port only works one way. B, it requires so much insertion force that you can't tell if you're plugging it in the wrong way. C, it uses teeth, so if you plug it in the wrong way, it rips everything out of the port. Micro USB was sociopathic. Whoever came up with that shit needs to be hitting the balls with a baseball bat. But I understand why Apple came out with Lightning. Using Lightning in 2012 made total sense. Using Lightning in 2022 is fucking awful. Are you excited for the new Ryzen platform coming this year? Not at all. I do not care. Same with the new 4K series NVIDIA. Nope. I don't care. Like, I'm not a... what I do with my computer, I could have a ThinkPad T520 and I could be a happy guy. Nothing that I do with my computer really requires supercomputing power. I don't really, my videos are not edited, they're one take. I don't give a shit about 4K because my cameras are 1080p as is. No, I'm not really that excited, I'll be honest with you. I'm excited about what more powerful computing platforms mean for things like, artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, figuring out how proteins fold so that you can cure cancer and shit like that. That's what I'm excited about. But in terms of personal use, shit's good enough already for me. Like, I'm good. Until I wind up doing something radically different with my computer, I'm happy with a 10-year-old computer, to be honest with you. As someone who lost nearly 20 years in a dying industry 5 years ago and thought I had a backup that isn't working out, I respect your honesty and market changes. Thank you, Justin Haas. How much longer do you think the audit process will take? What if it's still going 2 years from now? I've dealt with state bureaucracy before. I wouldn't be surprised if it was still going many years from now. The thing about becoming a politician is the fact that you have to pander to everybody else's likes and agreements and wants, but while you're doing that, you're also trying to slide your own agenda in the same time. Well, the thing is with that is that, I mean, think about it. You're a representative. So it's not even really supposed to be your views. Your views are supposed to be representative of the constituents in your area. I don't want to do that, though. I want to have my own views. Fuck that. I don't want to have to, I don't want to have to represent the views of the people that live in my area. What if they're wrong? What if I disagree with them? What if I think they're stupid? No, it's not what if you're a good politician, you are representing the views of the people who voted for you. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a puppet for somebody, for a group of people. Again, screw that. Screw that. You have a middle name. I do. How profitable is mitigating and reversing the effects of carbon change? Dude, what the? You think I'm a scientist at ExxonMobil? LOL, someone said you were talking shit about me. Guess not. I'm out. Keep your friends off my... What? I haven't said a word about you. Huh? That is confusing. One second. Tampa's an interesting place, but it's close to Clearwater, and Clearwater scares me. Louis is on his phone. I'm not paying for this date. Excuse me. I have my second YouTube chat window over here. What if Blair White asked you? Again, I answered the question. That's it. You got your answer. No more asking the question with different words. No, no, no. Where are the cats? That's a paywalled question. Excuse me. I don't know what minds thing you mean, Tony Goza. What would you tell your 18-year-old self? Have more confidence in your long-term potential and don't make short-term decisions based on fear. Taking the booster shot? Nah, I had COVID enough times already. I got the first 2 shots and I got the first 2 COVIDs, and I'm good. I'm interested in trying to do repair as a side gig. Is there any device you'd recommend trying to start on? Something really old and cheap. Something where you could buy 2 working ones and a broken one for like under $150. Like don't work on an M1 MacBook, you know, work on an Acer 5517 or something. I'm not saying you need to like literally buy that exact model. I'm just trying to give you an idea to get the point across. Azul says trans, clap emoji, women, clap emoji, R, clap emoji, women, clap emoji. When people talk like this, I assume they have a learning disorder. I don't know. I don't know what to say. There's really no reason to do that. Okay, you know, what? You enjoy clapping to yourself. I don't really care. I don't really care. I don't know why somebody had to tell her he was talking crap. He actually goes out of his way to not talk about it. Because people are cunts, Kinto Zero. It is what it is. I'm surprised she would think that I was, though. The only thing that I've said in this entire stream referring to her is that she was the only woman I've gone out with that actually showed up on time for a date. Which is a compliment. I think that's a compliment, but I don't know. See, this is why I usually try to just avoid mentioning people entirely. I don't know. That was the first woman that I've ever gone out with that showed up on camera. And realistically speaking, seeing the way the parasocial relationship works with people, I'm most likely not doing that again with the next person that I go out with. Like, you're never meeting them. Like, Eli the computer guy has that rule with his wife. His wife has never been on video with him. Ever. And she never will be. And they are happier for it. He has said many times this platform is fundamentally unhealthy and I don't want to expose her to that. And it's a smart decision. Whoa. Bruh. That's oh, you little... Okay, I want to show you how fucking retarded YouTube is right here. Oh, that's... You're fake. Oh, you got... Oh, that was funny. You actually got me. Oh, that's funny. I knew that you would never do that. Yeah, that's a fake-ass Cinevision. That's a fake-ass Cinevision. That ain't no Cinevision. That's not a real Cinevision. Yo, get the fuck out of here, fake-ass Cinevision. Yo, GTFO. GTFO. Yeah, I didn't check either. Like, realistically speaking, I should have assumed better. Like, honestly, I feel like I insulted her by even remotely assuming that was her. Because I thought that's weird. That's not the kind of comment you would ever leave. Because she is a cooperative, kind, and feminine woman. Not the kind of person that's going to, like, I have gone out with a woman that would go, like, what are you talking about? Like, that's never been her. That's never been her. Yeah, I just confirmed. Oh, that's fake. I got catfished. I got fucking catfished. Oh, I got that. You know, you got me. You got me good. You got me good. Oh, it is what it is. They got their kick. They're probably coming right now. Somebody's probably jerking off into their pants over that. Let's see. We need to... What? This guy is still going. I remember watching back in 2015. You support collectivization. I don't know what that means. You mean collectivization of farms? I saw an AT&T car today driving 3 miles per hour. She was trying to get her phone to have service. It was the most hilariously ironic thing I've ever seen. I thought you'd find it funny. Please tell me you caught that on video. Please tell me you caught that on video. God, you went to streaming in the beginning. I streamed a motherboard repair because I was tired of editing. I didn't like editing video. It's kind of annoying. You ready to eat dinner? If so, what did you have? I had lunch. I had brisket from beef brisket from Casey's Rib Shack, collard greens, a small amount of rice on the side, and no cornbread. I do not lease vehicles, Joseph Singer. I don't like borrowing money, and I definitely don't like borrowing cars. Why are we focusing on the trans topic? Who cares? Louis basically knows nothing about the subject, and very few people have any stake. Take it elsewhere. It's not. It honestly doesn't matter what I know about the subject. Like all I need to know when it comes to data, I don't give a fuck. You do you. I'll call you whatever pronouns you want to be called. I don't care. All I ask, again, if you cannot biologically have a child, I don't want to marry you. That's it. Again, I have very basic standards. There are millions of things that I may not understand, and that's absolutely fine, and I'm okay with it. But it doesn't change my opinion. Jessa was explaining a lot of this to me a few years ago. She has the channel iPad Rehab. She has a PhD in molecular genetics. She did a lot of work into trying to cure cancer. She knows a lot more about this shit than I do. And she was explaining it to me like many years ago. Well, here is the actual way that somebody could be born. Here's how the androgen receptors could not work properly so that somebody could actually be born looking this gender, but in their minds they feel this gender, and this is fucked up. And here's why this type of here's why there would be the mismatch and how they feel versus what they are and all that stuff. And all of that stuff made sense to me. Like it genuinely did make sense to me. And I'm not one of those people that's going to make fun of people that have that as a condition or anything. It just doesn't change my dating preferences at all. Like I get it. I understand everything behind that. It's just it doesn't change my dating preferences. So when someone uses like the clap emoji when they say, "Would you date a trans woman?" and I go, "No," and they start going that, that's when I go like that. That makes any sense? I don't know. You can call me an idiot. You can call me old-fashioned. You can say I'm dumb. You could say I'm uncultured. You could say that I'm evil. I don't know. You win. You win. Do you like Louis C.K.? I've never seen his stuff before. I'm more of a Bill Burr fan myself. Brisket makes everything better. It does from time to time, Alana. It really does. Shoo, mosquito. Shoo. At least if the audit goes south, maybe you can redo your man shots at Subway. Great video, but from the homeless perspective, and it'll go viral and you instantly become a millionaire. Maybe. Louis, I've been dating a girl for like 6 months and I don't want to let my parents meet her even though they bug me about it. Just no way. That seems like it'd work out well. Brad, so there's a bunch of questions I want to take apart there. You're turning this into a dating channel again. Damn you. Okay, if you've been seeing somebody for 6 months, that either means that, okay, sub point A, you really like her and you're a good judge of character and she's somebody that you would be considering for marriage, or B, you're a shit judge of character, you're wasting your time, you don't really like her. If it's this, then why would you not want to introduce this person that you like, that you have judged to be of sound mind and good character to your parents? Why would that be a bad thing? If it's B and you don't really like this person, why are you dating them? Like I don't know. I don't understand extended dating. I really don't. Like when people say I've been dating for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 8, like if you don't see the person as marriage material in like 3, 6, 9 months, like what are you doing? Like I tell women, if I've been with them for 3 to 6 months and I don't see a future, I'll be upfront and honest. Just so you know, I do not see a future. I do not see myself marrying you. If you want children and a future, please, for the love of God, look elsewhere, because I can't live with the guilt of knowing I'm wasting your time. Now, admittedly, what I should do in those cases is just cut it off completely instead of allow them to make the decision to continue what we're doing. But like that's a different conversation altogether. Like I don't get when people are together for like 2 years, 8 years, and like I still don't know if I would be. I don't know if it's the one. Like fuck this whole the one thing. No, I don't know. Funny you talk about punctuality. I've made every woman I've ever dated late to numerous dates, and I've always been the one to show up late. Kento, you got to stop doing that. Would dating anyone who craves internet attention be a wise choice, like Insta thoughts and so on? I think dating anybody that craves attention can be it's going to be difficult. It's not something I could do. I don't know. I could date somebody that's like, okay, you know, here's a picture of me at a bar. Here's a picture of me the day I bought my car. Here's a picture of me smiling with friends. I could do that. I can't see myself dating somebody that's like, here's a picture of me doing everything that is humanly possible to exaggerate my cleavage. Here's a picture of me with pants that are painted the exact same color as my legs so it looks like I'm naked so that you could kind of see the layout of my parts and shit. I don't know. I can't fucking, no. I can't see myself doing that. I don't know. Nah. And obviously, I'm just going to be clear. You know, the women that have 800,000 Instagram followers with like thotty pictures, they're not it's not like they're banging down my door for a date anyway. But like, no, since you asked, it's not something I'm interested in. That's not something I have any interest in. I am behind by 5 minutes. Lots of mods for 300 users, good lord. Why are you so afraid, bro? Why are you so mod phobic? Don't be mod phobic. Don't be wrench phobic. Is there a word for phobia of wrenches? That's a good outlook, Louis. At least you understand there's a real scientific basis for why a person would feel that way. Yeah, that's the thing. I 110% acknowledge and understand the scientific basis and why somebody would feel and believe that they are a different gender than the gender that they present as. And Jessa Jones is really nice about this. She spent like about half an hour explaining it all to me, and it made sense. If you're not a biologist, it's not okay for you to say this stuff. No, fuck off, bro. No, serious. No, I am allowed to express a dating preference. This is the same as the whole like you are not. What's the word I'm looking for? You are not an epidemiologist, so what qualification do you have to say whether or not you can open your business? It's like, fuck you, bro. I need to pay my bills. I need to live my life. I'm not going to stop living my life because some cunt on MSNBC says that I should be afraid to go outside. And I'm not going to date somebody that last year looked like a man because I'm not a biologist. Like, fuck you. I'm going to have dating preferences. Like, there's only so far you can go in saying, because you are not an expert, you don't get to live your life. And like, I think this is what's causing a lot of the conservative resurgence in America and a lot of like the right-wing comeback is like statements and shit like this. Like, nah, bro, you don't get to say what my dating preferences are. Sorry, like, fuck you. Again, like, if you want to say, Louis, instead of saying Jessa told you this about androgen receptors, you should probably not talk about what she told you, because you may give somebody a misconception on what it is that causes someone to identify as a different gender than what they are. We can have that talk. Absolutely fine. If you say, I'm not allowed to say that a dude that grew up with testosterone his entire fucking life, maybe it's my personal preference to not see him boxing a woman, or that I'm not allowed to express a personal preference to want to marry somebody that has the ability to biologically have my child, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, just get the fuck out of here. And this is the thing, like, there are so many people, like, if I go to Palatka, Florida, there are so many things where I will disagree with the dude that has a MAGA sticker on his Ford F-150, thinks about the world and the way they see the world. There's like so many areas where we're going to disagree on so much shit. But there's this like small area, there's this really small area of agreement where it's like, you know what? You don't get to dictate my dating preferences just because I'm not a biologist. You don't get to say that I can't go outside in a fucking park just because you're an epidemiologist. It's like that one little area of agreement actually matters so much more than all the other disagreements combined. And it's sad. It's like, it really is. I don't know. You're turning a lot of people into one-issue voters at a time where it really doesn't make sense to be a one-issue voter. And it's going to fuck you come time for the midterms. You'll see. Dr. Evil, you came in a little late. If you rewind the video just 3 minutes, I think I had an excellent rant going just there. Three minutes ago, I got it. I feel like I was in the zone for a moment. I was in the zone. I guess the only way Lewis is going to respond is by super chats. Feels bad, fine. Okay, that's some cope-ass shit, because I've been online for 4 hours, and 99% of what I have read has been free chat. So for you to accuse me of not reading unpaid chat is fucking lame. So you can get off my channel. GTFO. Yeah, how's it feel? You want to be a victim? I'll time you out. I'll make you a victim. How does it feel? How does it feel, victim boy? All right. Why does the marriage and children have to be the end goal of a relationship with someone? Because it is. I mean, that's what we've been doing for like, what, how many million years have we been on this planet? Like, we've been doing this for a while now. And that's kind of the point. That's been the point. That's the biological imperative. That's why we're here. That's why we have sexual desire and attraction. It's one of the things that gives us a sense of purpose in life. It's one of the... I'm not interested in somebody that has somebody else's kids. Not interested in some... Pretty simple. I would like to be a dad. I'd like to be able to take everything that I've learned in life, all of my experiences, and maybe I'd like to see a photocopy of me, but that has the potential to not make all the mistakes that I made, that also has the benefit of growing up in a superior environment than the environment that I grew up in. I think that would give me a great sense of purpose, and it's something that I aspire to, and I'm not ashamed of that. It just seems so weird when people ask the question, like, why would somebody want to have kids? That's ridiculous. That's so outdated. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We've been doing that shit for millions of years. That's why you exist. The only reason that you fucking exist is because somebody actually saw purpose in doing that. Australian? Yeah, that's right. I'm going to call you out. We're not on this earth to fucking watch koalas like die because they're too dumb to eat a eucalyptus leaf that fell on the ground. I don't know. I'm just like full of shit at this point. I'm just ranting. It's about time for me to make myself some dinner. I'm hangry. He rarely reads my stupid comments. That's because only if they're stupid, though. Excuse me. Where am I? What is your favorite computer component? LP8550. They always work right out of the spool. I don't think I've ever gotten a bad LP8550. A Texas Instruments LED driver. It's one of my favorite LED drivers. I never on time to anything. It's something I'm bad at with. I have to show up several hours early. I'll be late every time. It's something worth working on because it demonstrates a lack of respect when you're not on time. You either post super chat rates behind you on a chalkboard or a whiteboard. I answer everything for free. Shaming language isn't effective in controlling the choices men make in dating. 100%, Dr. Evil. Yes, we're going to choose the most attractive woman we can attract and afford. That's the bottom line. Yeah, somebody said you can't talk about this because you're not a biologist. And that's when I just lost it on him and said, essentially, no. It's like I don't have to become a biologist to have a fucking dating preference. The same way that I do not have to become an epidemiologist to decide whether or not I wish to take the risk of going outside. I'm tired of this concept that you need to shut the fuck up and go away because you're not a PhD level expert in a topic. I'm not letting shame dictate my somebody controlling my life. Nope. Why does this mosquito keep go away? I should probably reopen the window so the mosquito leaves. But if I don't, I've been listening for a while. In that case, you heard me ranting at that person. Yes. What laptop are you using? I am proudly using you know what? I'm kind of fucking up here. I feel mean. I'm being mean to Framework. Like, I'm going to show the logo of the machine. This is kind of a dickhead angle for me to have the computer. Sorry, Linus. I know you invested in this company. I'm not good at shilling. I have a lot to learn. I'm shit at advertising, but here, check it out. See? We're going to have the logo of the Framework in the video. Look at that. See? Here we go. There we go. The people. Bada bing, bada boom. Framework. All right. You can't. Does Louis read free chats? Yes. Oh, that's not a question. It was a statement. I do. That is a framework. God damn, that fucking mosquito. What make you get a framework? They were nice and sent me one. And my other ThinkPad is freezing all the time and I don't want to troubleshoot it. Get the fuck out of here. Loving the wavelength tonight. I don't want to raise another man's kids and father my own. Preach. Again, I feel like I have reasonable dating standards. 4 to 5 out of 10 on the look scale. Cooperative, kind, biologically female, doesn't have another dude's kids. Like, really? Really? Like, I think I got down to earth dating standards. You're not shaming me for having that as a standard. Nope. Nope, you're not shaming me for having that as a standard. I think that's pretty reasonable. Let's see. The algorithm can keep me from here. I'm late, but here. Hi. It's literally the only thing we know we have to do is multiply. Lol. Only sure thing we're supposed to do with our lives. I'd like to do other things along the way. You know, I don't want to multiply. And I don't want to multiply nothing. I'd like to, pass on something good. I've heard people say that, well, if the world is getting worse, then why would you have kids? This is the debate I wound up having with Dr. Evil the other night in the car. Firstly, if you look at the absolute arc of human history, now is probably one of the best times in history. Seriously, like 100 years ago, 120 years ago, kids were making you a dating profile. Get the fuck out of here, Sonny. Somebody made a fake dating profile. Somebody made me a fake dating profile 2 months ago. Guess how I figured that out. But anyway, so there's, what was I going to say? So yeah, like 120 years ago, you had kids getting their arms and shit chopped off inside of industrial machinery. 200 years ago, I don't know, slavery. 400 years ago, if you didn't want 400 or 600 years ago, if you didn't want the plague, not 800 years ago, your dad was a blacksmith. Dad, I want to be an artist, not a blacksmith. Off with your head. Hey, the king wants us to go to war with those people. I don't want to go to war with those people. I just want to stay home and play PlayStation. Off with your head. Like, you got killed for almost anything. The world sucked. You didn't have air conditioning. I mean, the world was worse for most of humanity. The world was way worse than it is now. And for the things that do suck, I don't know, the way I see it, my kid's going to be one of the people who fixes all this shit. If I can raise my kid in a good environment, I want to see, like, what could my genes do in a good, encouraging, kind environment where he's inspired to do all the things he wants to do and he gets to learn and have his brain exposed to new shit all the time. When people say, well, what about climate change and everything else? My kid's going to be the one that solves that shit. My kid's going to be the one that figures out how to do carbon capture for free. That's the way I see it. I don't see my kid as the one that's suffering. I see my kid as the one that's going to be fixing it. That's what I'm aiming to raise. My kid's going to do it. The way I see it, my kid is going to do a lot more for the world than teach people how to fix luxury Facebook machines. I mean, I think I've contributed more to the world than I've consumed. The guy that gave me the $1 million donation for the C3 said, don't feel bad when it comes to salary or what you earn. You should know that life is not fair, and just when you consider the hundreds of thousands of people that saved money because of you, or the shit that's not been thrown out because of you, no offense, but the amount of money you'll make over the course of your life is never going to represent the effect you've had on the world. But I don't think that at the end of the day, I think that's what that'll be my impact. My impact is that I got people to keep their luxury Facebook machine for an additional 1 or 2 years. But I like to see what my kid can do. Yeah, maybe my kid will be the one that solves climate change or, creates world peace or something. That's the way I see it. If the world is a bad place, my kid's going to be the one that fixes it. So that's what I'm thinking on. That's what I'm thinking when I think about multiplying, when I think about having a kid. That's my motivation, or what gives me a sense of mission and purpose towards orienting myself towards being a good father. The motivation to raise somebody that makes the world right and proper. Do you ever go with a custom PC? I've built a custom PC before. I just don't enjoy doing it. You put the framework more in the frame. In the video, achievement unlocked. Indeed. I thought you were married, Louis. I've never been married. Fucking mosquito. I'm going to have to repair my framework after I do this to that goddamn mosquito. Play World of Warcraft. Nope. No, you're right. Koalas should be extinct with how stupid they are. I have no idea how me ranting at Teresa turned into a rant about koalas not being smart enough to eat a eucalyptus leaf unless it's on the tree. And that is a smooth-brained goddamn animal. Louis, you're an expert on your dating preferences. That's all that's relevant to the discussion. True. Have you worked in Dell machines? If so, what's your opinion on repairability? It really depends. The business machines are more repairable than the consumer level ones. But they have so many different models, it's impossible to say, what is Dell like as a brand? It's kind of like asking, what is the torque of Chevy vehicles? Malibu or a Duramax 3500? What do you think of population collapse? My repair got denied today by our crew. First time's a charm. SSD died in A1706. I blame Paul S. No, not much I can do there. Climate change, you mean seasons? No, I mean climate change. That's some cope shit right there. So that is copium. That is being high on copium. Now, I can say that just because climate change happens that I do not want to take actions that destroy the world economy to combat it. But I can acknowledge reality as it presently exists. The problem is so many people that just they don't want to acknowledge reality. They think that it's not enough to acknowledge reality but disagree on what to do. They have to say same thing with COVID. Like, yes, COVID is fucked up. COVID killed more people than the flu. COVID sucks when you die of it. And a lot of people fucking died of it. I don't think that you should shut down the world economy. I think the results of trying to shut down the world economy because of a virus are going to be worse in the long term than just letting it run its course. And I think that people will massively regret all those steps that are taken. And I think that the threat to personal liberty is greater than the threat of the overall health effect of the disease. But like, instead of doing that, you have people that are like, nah, bro, COVID's fake. That they made that shit up. They fake all the death numbers. Like, the news is making this. Like, dude, like, just stop. Like, I can acknowledge reality, but then say I disagree with the people in power's prescription as to how to deal with that reality. But like, people don't do that anymore. They just go like, nah, bro, your reality is not real. I'm gonna substitute my reality. Fuck you. It's weird. Like, it's really weird. Excuse me. Sorry for the yawning. You fucking mosquito. Listen, I'm going to warn you one more time before I kill you. I've given you many warnings where I just smacked you, but next time I'm going to kill you. I'm just giving you fair warning, little mosquito. Come on, I don't want to kill you. That's a question that you probably know if you've been watching this channel for a while, Purple, that I have no idea how to answer. I'm a little interested in seeing Louis Rossmann Jr. I'll come up with a better name for him. I'm not going to give him the same name as me. That's kind of lazy. You got to come up with a different name. I'm not going to be one of those people that just is like, what should I name my kid? Oh, maybe me, and put Junior in front of it. Oh, fuck that. My kid's going to have his own name. My kid's going to have his own name. That's the least I could do for him, is give him his own name. Have a little bit of creativity. I was lazy with my business. It's like, what should I name my business? What if I take my name and I put group in front of it so it sounds prestigious? Like, but that's for a business, I'll do that for a business. I'm not going to do that for my kid. My kid deserves a real name. My kid deserves a name. Quiet Mike. My kid got his name because I watched X-Men before I went into labor. Does he know that? Also, bold of you to assume you will have a son. Probably. I'm assuming that my child is going. I'm assuming that my child is going to be biased the same way that my YouTube channel viewership is biased. So my channel is like 98 to 99% men. So I don't know. For some reason, my mind defaulted to the idea that the chances of the gender of my child will skew the way my YouTube viewership skews. That's a bit of that's a fallacy in and of itself. But you caught me in it. I think if you had a daughter, you'd be really strict and protective of her. I don't think I'd be strict. I'll be honest with you. Like I don't believe in. I honestly, I don't even believe in punishment. I'll be honest. Like, I don't believe in the whole, like, you can, no bike for you if you do this, or if your grades are this, I'm gonna smack you, or I don't believe in that. All that, because if you have a daughter and you're hyper strict, all it does is turn her into a stealth slut bucket, Like, if your dad keeps telling you, I don't want you to do this, that, or the other, it's okay, I'm going to rebel against you and do the exact opposite of what you say, and then I'm going to fuck the whole school while you're not looking. Like, I'm not doing that, no. That doesn't work. like you need to be able to negotiate with kids. You need to be able to negotiate with your son or your daughter. It's not just like might makes right. I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna take away your cell phone. I'm gonna take away your bicycle. You can't go out after 4. Like, no, fuck that. I don't think that works with parenting. My dad didn't parent me that way. My dad wasn't strict. A lot of people like there were a lot of people, including my mother and everybody in my mother's family, that really disagree with my father's method of parenting. They said that you're going to raise a spoiled child. He's not going to have any work ethic. He's not going to put in any effort to anything. Because my dad never punished. He would have a thinking chair and he would ask. He wouldn't make me. He would ask me to go to a thinking chair. And then he would negotiate with me, and like he would say, "Listen, I'm happy to play this and do this other stuff with you later, but I can't do that if you're not willing to spend 10 minutes thinking about something for me. I would feel like that's disrespectful of me." And he would guilt me into going in the fucking thinking chair. He'd have a conversation with me after I thought for 5 or 10 minutes. The conversation would always lead back around to say, it would start with something in his life that I didn't really understand, and it would lead back around to what I did, and it would get me to realize that I probably should have been behaving differently. He didn't hit me. He didn't take away my Game Boy. He didn't take away my bike. I didn't get punished or hit as a kid. Like, never. And all these people were saying he's going to... And the funny thing is, the people in my family that said that I'm going to grow up to be spoiled and not have a work ethic, one of those people has 2 children that in their 30s still live at home, don't have a job, and have done nothing with their lives. Meanwhile, since I moved out when I was 17, I've been working nonstop ever since. I have two companies, 2 nonprofits, and like I still like bags under my eyes and lost hair from stress from all the work that I do all the time. I don't believe in the whole punishment shit. Now again, you don't have to be strict to raise people properly. I think this is a misconception that you have to be very strict. You have to be a boss. You have to. I hate that obsession. Like I don't care what it is, whether it's a dad that wants to be a really strict parent or whether it's some hyper feminist chick on Bumble that's like, I'm a boss bitch. I'm not into that shit. I'm just not I'm not into that whole, like, I have authority because I call myself a boss and I act all on top of stuff. That doesn't make you a boss. You're a boss if people want to listen to you. You're a boss if people want to listen to you when they don't have to listen to you. You're a boss if people want to listen to you because they want to. And I think you should be able to establish that with your kids. That's the kind of dad I want to be. I want to be the kind of dad that when my daughter has her first crush, she's actually open to talking to me about it. She doesn't hide it from me. I would want to be the type of dad that when like something weird happens at school, that she has a weird interaction with somebody, that she tells me first before anybody else, where there's nothing that's off limits to discuss with her dad, because she's not going to be judged negatively because of it. She's not going to get punished. There's not going to be some blow up reaction. I don't want my daughter to have to think to herself, how am I going to manage my father's reaction to this? You know what? I don't want to think about how I'm going to manage his reaction to it, so I'm just not going to tell him. That doesn't work. I think you should be the type of parent where your kid doesn't believe they're ever going to have to manage your reaction to something, or where they're going to have to be worried, or where they're like, I have to hide this report card from my parents or anything like that. I am named after the singer Alanis Morissette in the lost city of Atlantis. That's interesting. So some thought went into your name. Yeah, my mom is just like, I don't know, what should I name my kid? Let's just take my dad's name and just make it English instead of Italian. It's kind of lazy. When you have kids, let your wife decide. It'll solve a lot of issues. That's the other thing. One of the things when it comes to selecting somebody is I would want to select somebody for dating and marriage that has the same concept on kids that I do. And this is, by the way, this is first date material for me, by the way. Like, I suss this shit out immediately. So, okay, do you believe in spanking children? Are you open to reading material that demonstrates that is not the optimal way to raise a child? And if it's yes to the spanking and no to the reading alternative, it's like, all right, here, I'll pay for dinner. Bye. I'm not interested in having a kid with somebody that's like, I'm going to take out the belt and I'm going to take away their stuff and I'm going to be... No, fuck that. Because it doesn't work. Like, there's enough data on this. It doesn't work. It makes people feel tough, but it doesn't actually work. It doesn't it doesn't create a better outcome. What's your criteria for hiring board repair techs? That they know what the fuck they are doing and that they can fix boards. If you can fix boards, you're welcome. If you can't fix boards, get the fuck out of my store. Go work at an Apple store. Weird take, says Evasive Fox. Not weird. There are entire books on this. There's entire books on non-aggressive parenting. It's not weird. It's honestly, it's weird that people think that aggressive parenting is necessary. I think it's weird that people think that you have to hit your kid or be mean and scream and shit like that. The fact that you would think that it's weird to not do that is really fucked up. And it demonstrates how fucked up society is. And like everybody said, the way that my dad was raising me was wrong, and it's going to Now, granted, you can say that I'm weird. True. You could say that I don't listen. You're right. You could say I'm strange. True. Eccentric. Definitely. But like that, because I wasn't disciplined in that way that I grew, that I am, what's the word I'm looking for? Because I wasn't disciplined in that way that I'm lazy or that I don't do work. Nah, you can't say that. I think I run my life in a moral and ethical way. I think I deal with all the people that I deal with and engage with in a moral and ethical way. And I think that I am willing to work my ass off to get something done. I may be a douchebag, but there's a lot of people that have parents that were, that hit them and all that wind up growing up to be douchebags. Yeah, that's the approach I would take to parenting. My dad demonstrated that it works and it can work on, and it worked on me. I appreciated that approach a lot. And that is the approach I'm going to have with my kid. It's the same. I'll give you another example or analogy. Let's take Mr. Clinton the cat. So Mr. Clinton the cat is a little hellraiser. When I took him on the train, I had a cat carrier, and he actually figured out how to open the cat carrier. He could break it and get out of it. He would scream at the top of his lungs, and he would hiss all the time. But because I was telling him, Mr. Clinton, by putting him in this little cage, I'm telling him, I don't trust you. When I took him out of the cat carrier and I put him on my lap, he looked at me and he went, meow. And even when people were yelling, even when the train went over a bump, he never dug his claws into me. He didn't yell. He didn't jump. He stayed on my lap and he looked at me and would go, meow. He appreciated the fact that I trusted him. I treated him like a grown-up, and Mr. Clinton treated me like a grown, and he rewarded me. I think I did that to my dad. It's like, my dad, okay, everybody else wants you to treat me like I'm a fucking retard because I'm a kid. Kids are not retarded. They're children. They're small versions of you that know less. Because you're going to treat me like an adult. I felt like I needed to live up to what he was doing for me by living a decent life and not being an asshole, not getting drunk and wasted, and going to parties and doing really stupid shit. I felt like if you're going to treat me like this way, then I should take responsibility and accountability for being a decent person. Because, if you believe in me that way and you're willing to give me that level of trust, let me try to live up. He gave me something to live up to. The same way that I gave Mr. Clinton something to live up to that day. I want to give my kids something to live up to. I don't want to just, I'm not going to be some kind of strict person. It's like, you better be back before 4. And if they show up home at 4:02, it's like, I'm taking away your cell phone. Like, no, that's not what we're doing. That's not what we're doing. I'm not raising a kid like that. That's the thing. Here's the other thing. This is what my dad said. My dad said about this method of parenting. He said, I think that this is what works. But hypothetically speaking, let's say I'm wrong. Let's say that I decided I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you, take out the belt, punish you, take away your shit. The moment you're 18 years old, you can get your own apartment with your own television that I can't take away from you. You can buy your own little $500 shitty Honda first car so that when I say you can't go, I'm going to take away your Metro card so you can't go out, you'll be able to go out anyway. What does it matter? Because when you turn it, again, I can tell you what you can do between the age of 1 and 17. From 18 till your death, you're going to be the arbiter of your own life. It doesn't really matter how strict I am. It's not going to mean jack shit. And he's right. He's right. There are so many people that come from these strict households that from the age of 18 to 40, they become like the biggest clusterfucks. And the reason I say 18 to 40 is because they don't last past 40 because they wind up going on these insane binges and overdosing on something and they're gone. I'm not against nuclear, Brad Haynes. Bet Germany wishes they didn't go up to nuclear power right now. If hindsight were hindsight is 20/20 though. First, you need to find a good mother for your future children. True, you need, again, even a bird with its tiny bird brain understands that it needs to build a nest before, laying eggs and having them hatch. And I like to think that my brain is at least the size of a bird. So we start with finding a woman that would make a quality mother, and that's that. Right to repair and MacBook repair education is dead. This is strictly a political rant channel. I have board repair videos from last week. You probably didn't watch any of them. You don't watch any of that shit. You don't want to watch that shit. Be honest with you. Be honest. Be honest. You don't want to watch. You know. I produce the content. You don't want to watch it. You watch this. You want to see Louis yells at camera. Rawr! I never understood why hitting kids as a punishment is supposed to work, though. It's not. It's cope. It's allowing people to take out their frustration and aggression for having kids that they probably shouldn't have had on the kids instead of hitting themselves. And so people come up with ways to frame it as I'm disciplining, I'm raising him. When in reality, it's like, yo, I'm pissed off that I had a kid that I shouldn't have had, so I'm just going to beat the fuck out of him because he's annoying me. Discipline is more than physical abuse. Give me a break. No, you give me a break, you little disingenuous cunt. Listen, I specifically described the things that I would and would not do. I know that discipline is not just beating your kid, you stupid little straw manning fuck. What I said was that I'm not going to say, oh, you came home 5 minutes late, I'm taking away your things. I'm not going to use taking away your transportation, taking away your ability to go outside as a means to get you to do what I want. Yes, there's more to it than hitting, which I brought up, but you're deciding to avoid that part of the conversation because it goes against your little narrative. There's a lot I don't mind people disagreeing with me. I just really hate when people put words in my mouth or they say that I said shit I didn't say. I have no patience for that. Discipline doesn't always imply physical violence. No, it implies everything else. Like you can't have your phone, or I'm going to tell you that you can't go outside right now, or here you have to stay in this little box because you're punished. You can't leave this room. Like any of that shit. There are a number of things that go into discipline, and that I'm not into that. I'm not into doing that. I didn't say that it was just hitting. I don't know. I spent 5 minutes talking about it and you just kind of like glossed over it to try and make my point something else. I hate when people do that. I hate the people that do that. They're so annoying. I don't understand how you have conversations in person when you do that. Like, who wants to be around that? I don't think too many people dislike the kids as much as they dislike the partners they had kids with. That's a big one, JP. That's a big one. People hear what they want to hear. True. The Windows on the framework. Can't use Linux because I have an integrated GPU. And I want DaVinci Resolve to work for the videos I don't edit anymore. Oh dear, you give birds too much credit. There is one type of bird that like lays eggs in other people's nest. That's a gangster bird. My dad never had to force me to go in the thinking chair. What he did is negotiate, which is different. Again, saying, go into this chair or else, that is punishment. To say, listen, I'd like to play with you further, and there's these other things that we can do, but I'm not going to feel like comfortable doing that with you if you're not open to doing something for me first. So will you do that? That's negotiating. See, most people, they don't respect their children. Like, anyway, did you hire an editor? Hell no, I'm not hiring an editor. Nah. 99% of my videos that are 5 or 10 minutes are just pretty much one take. I bet if your dad spanked you, you'd be better financially and emotionally. Nah, that's pretty retarded, bro. And you can go. That's dumb. The idea that I would be better off emotionally if somebody beat me, I'm pretty well off emotionally right now. I don't think that I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with my place in it. I deal with problems and conflict pretty well. When I'm stressed out, I don't lose my mind and go crazy, and I just deal with shit as it comes. I think I'm pretty well dealt at things. Yeah, the idea that there's no evidence to back the fact that if you got beat, if somebody physically beat you, that you'd be better off. There's really no evidence for that. There's no evidence for stuff like that. It's a really dumb thing. I don't want, no, the whole like, I'm not all with having like people encouraging child abuse in my chat. That's a ban. Nah, no advising child abuse in my chat. You wait until we get home is the worst part. Yeah, fuck that. Like, at the very least, if you're going to hit me, just do it immediately. Don't do this whole, like, I'm going to have you live in fear of being hit by me for 3 hours, and then when I get home, then I'm going to beat you for 5 hours. Like, no, that's fucked up. Like, the idea that I'm going to... No, that's evil. That shit's evil. Excuse me, I'm yawning. I should make myself some dinner. My parents can be really emotionally and verbally abusive, and I'm okay. I only have regular suicidal ideation, social anxiety, no sense of self, depression. I'm sorry to hear about that. Consider therapy for helping sort yourself out. Let's see. Do you think there are similarities between the boss you are and the father you want to be? To some extent. I mean, I think so. I mean, I don't have write-ups at my company. I think I definitely need to become a better boss and manager before I can become a father. I definitely would have to become a different boss and manager before I become a father. I would also, with the whole idea of not physically abusing my children, I do shoot my employees with Nerf guns. Sometimes I aim for the dick. That would have to change. My dad smacked me in the head because we were walking the evil dog. He should have never bought me and jumped in a car. I was 13. I'm sorry to hear that. That's not nice. That's not right. Yeah, I shot Steve in the dick. And I filmed it and I put it on YouTube. I got to do better at that before I can become a father. That was fucked up. That wasn't right. Don't shoot somebody in the dick. That's fucked up. That wasn't right. Okay. That's it. It's been 4 hours. I think I'm going to make this a regular time. I think I'm going to do this regularly. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 12 a.m. the next day. I think a 4-hour show from 8 to 12. I've been waking up pretty early recently, so I wake up around. It's difficult for me to wake up any time after the sun has come up. So like once the sun comes up, I'm awake. So like 5:30, 6:30 in the morning, my eyes are wide open. I get a lot of my stuff done. I got a lot of my work done earlier in the day. Got a lot of my stuff done. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna make this a regular thing. I'm gonna see about making this a regular thing. I may make this a regular thing. We'll see. Anyway, I'm out of here. Yeah, you don't shoot a guy in the dick. That was fucked up. I definitely got to become a better. Got to do better. I can't even think about becoming a father until I become a better business owner. It's so tempting though. Like sometimes you just want to shoot the manager in the dick. Sometimes they earn it. Sometimes you really want. See, that goes against what I just said though. Anyway, see you later. I'm gonna make myself some something to eat. It's a pleasure speaking with you all, and that's about it for today. Oh, we have a Discord, by the way. If any of you, I think the link got fixed by Hi. Yeah, I'm gonna post a link to that in the chat if anybody's interested. We have a Letters to Louis channel for any time people want to write in shit about random stuff they may want to see on the channel. Thank you, Alana. That's very kind of you. Okay.